What the is going on?
You turned on the metronome. Hello and welcome to episode 213 of the Random Nintendo Podcast.
213, you say?
213.
Wow.
I was thinking about that, like, damn, 213, that's a lot.
I would like to point out, guys, you're here every time, and it was last 212, and before that was 211, so this should not be a shock.
Yeah, but when you reach these milestones...
Like the 213th
Yeah, 213, yeah, the
213.
famous serial code of Los Angeles.
Fair. Not my area code, but fair.
Well,
Or yours.
You don't count as the LA County, do you?
Yeah.
Does that count as LA County?
Yeah.
LA's huge, dog.
It is. It really is. Yeah, but anyway, we're calling...
Does Santa Monica count?
Yes.
Does... I don't know what's beyond that.
Welcome to LA Geographic Quiz.
What's that, Del Mar? No, not Del
That
Mar.
counts.
The something Del Rey?
Marina Del Rey, that counts.
I would assume that counts.
You get two more, and then we're moving on.
What is it? Pasadena?
Burbank?
Pasadena counts, Burbank counts. Okay.
Burbank counts?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That was... I was like...
You're so shocked, like, oh, okay.
Well, I was getting further and further. I'm like, well, if that counts, then
Like,
I guess...
passing Westwood, I assume, is like... When
Still LA.
No, but like passing Westwood. Like,
Oh, north?
yeah.
Oh, but you
A
got
little
like
bit north of
Hollywood and
Westwood.
everything still up there.
God.
Yeah, so LA's big, and in this episode of the podcast, we're not going to talk about any of it except what we just did. We're calling episode 213 Mano y Mario because
Hold up. No. You said we were going. No, I did not agree to the title switch.
You're right. You wanted to do the other one.
You
it was
said
either
the
that
Great
or the
Debate.
Great Debate. Mono y Mario is much better. If you like Mono y Mario better, tweet at Kevin KVN Gomez on Twitter and tell him he's wrong.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like for this, retweet for that.
But what would they like? Oh, yeah, like and retweet the tweet about this episode. Like it if you like one title.
No, you can just make a poll now.
That's true.
I don't get why people don't make polls on Twitter. It's like retweet for this, like for this. You can make a poll
Because they
You
want
don't
the
have-
engagement numbers.
Oh no, well yeah,
They want
that's
to
clear. But
propagate
like,
out. Yeah.
But what if you want data?
I'm not about to get into this rant.
No, please do.
Nope. I'm.
Okay, fine. Well, anyway, this episode's Mono y Mario.
I'll be here for hours.
I'm sure we would. We are anyway, usually. But, yeah, we're calling it this episode because at last we are going to go head-to-head to determine once and for all if Mario World is really the best 2D Mario game ever.
Oh,
Spoiler
so that's
alert.
what it is now?
What was it before?
The best game ever.
2D Mario
No,
game
best
ever.
game ever. His word.
Oh, sure.
It was
okay, best game ever.
Okay.
And spoiler alert, whichever you want to categorize it as, it is. Oh, my debate wasn't... Oh, huh. My point was only best 2D Mario, and my all-time personal favorite.
Well, you're debating him. You're not debating me. So
Well, I was debating best game ever.
okay. Well.
Oh, well, this is gonna be a hot debate.
We'll get there.
Yeah, anyway, so that's going to be later in the show. The answer is yes, just in case anyone needs to know now. But, you know, this debate, actually, Kevin, you're like, I'm not doing it. This really, you started this. You...
Oh yeah, I like to instigate stuff. And
Yeah,
just
you
walk
come
away.
on our podcast, become our third chair, and then you just immediately make me and Angel go head-to-head about my all-time favorite game. which
One of
he
my
says
favorite
isn't.
pastimes to do, honestly.
It's a good one. But yeah, so we're going to finally resolve that. But, you know, like with any wrestling or boxing match, like any good title fight, usually has some stuff that precedes it that leads into it. So we're doing that too. You sometimes, you know, see familiar faces make surprise appearances at like the ring or something. So we have that with Brain Age coming back and Pokemon Sword and Shield. New details on that. You sometimes see like some new up-and-comer come into the fight. See, this is really thought out. So we got that with hands-on impressions of the Switch Lite, and you have been playing Angel, Shantae, and the Pirate's Curse. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Look at that
sometimes,
dead air right there.
I know. Look at that silence. And then sometimes a legend passes away and you have to acknowledge it, like Alpha Dream going bankrupt. So we're going to cover all that stuff and have a warm-up debate about, or warm-up match, if you will, about what the best controller is, which was an Angel idea. And then from there, we're going to go straight into...
Then we're going into which Sonic Adventure is the better one.
Right.
Spoiler alert, it's Sonic Adventure 2.
One? Oh, what?
Whoa, wait, you
Nope.
think it's one?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, and then
Specifically,
it is
Sonic
two.
Adventure 2
to battle
Battle
on the
on the
Nintendo GameCube. Anyway, and then we're going to get to Mario.
Say it, Jason. It's fine.
I was trying to say it in unison with him for added effect, but then he just stopped. But anyway, point is, we have a lot of stuff. My analogy about boxing stops there and rings and whatnot. But I thought it was pretty decent. I thought it was clever.
I
Anyway,
they were making an analogy.
You clearly weren't listening.
Yeah.
Kevin was like, I see what you're doing. Anyway, if there's any one thing you want to hear about that's not part of that analogy, or in that analogy, there's timestamps@random.com. There's timestamps under the YouTube video if you're listening there. But let's begin with one of the familiar faces. Dr. Kawashima. Nintendo made the surprise announcement that the disembodied head and his brain training is coming back, and now it's coming to Switch. And Brain Age actually is a series that kind of predates our podcast by a good amount. I mean, the most recent one, the one that bombed, was on 3DS in 2013, I want to say, and we kind of just ignored it. That was concentration training. But in Brain Age's prime, back in the DS days, the like original DS, the weird Fisher-Price looking one in 2005, that was a huge deal, Brain Age. Did you guys ever really play Brain Age? Was it ever something you did?
I played it a ton. I got really frustrated because it couldn't understand blue.
That is true.
That was one of like the worst.
That was a known issue.
It was a really fun game, but yeah, most of my memories are just screaming at the DS, blue, blue, and it just doesn't understand it.
How about you, Kevin?
Don't drink your water and give me those seduce me eyes that you gave me.
I was looking at you like, talk so I can drink my water.
Looking at me like some femme fatale in the James Bond movie. No, I never played Brain Age. So this will probably be my first experience with it.
You know, it's funny, like when Brain Age, not like haha funny, but when Brain Age first came out, I actually had like, or before it came out, when it was announced the concept, I was just like, well, like I had zero interest. And then they did that demo a few months before it came out, way back when. And I just like, I was surprised at how addictive it can be. And then I ended up getting really into it like Angel for a while. I had a little trouble with Blue too, but eventually got over it. You don't have to worry, the new one, there's no microphone, so you can't shout. I mean, you could shout Blue, but it's not going to do anything.
That was a really fun game, though. Like, I like the idea of, like, reading a color, but it's the wrong color.
Oh, the Stroop test, yeah. That's what it's actually called. Yeah, the Stroop test.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, it was, like, I played it for a while, like, every single day. I was actually, like, really all about it.
For some reason you think you're welcome rubbed me the wrong way. You should just not said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, this. So...
It's like when you're not supposed to say I'm sorry in Japan after like bumping into somebody because they think that you did it on purpose.
Oh well, can I retract my "you're welcome"?
Yes.
Consider it retracted.
How rude.
Anyway, so so now it's coming to Switch, and this new one seems to be kind of like a half reboot, half sequel of sorts. Notably, it actually has the same name as the original, which in Japan was Train Your Brain Nintendo DS training for adults, and now it's just Train Your Brain Nintendo Switch training for adults. So it is kind of a reboot, but
does not train your for minutes a day or
that's a US name, which they haven't announced it yet for the US.
Does it have the
It's still gonna be Brain Age. What?
Does it have the devilish?
That was devilish training in Europe, or concentration training, which bombed here in the States. And in Europe, it was delayed like 5 years because they were worried it was gonna bomb there too. And guess what happened? It bombed there too. But so this one's kind of like a soft reboot. It has some of the same go-tos. So you got your writing numbers quickly as they scroll by. You've got Sudoku. You've got the Brain Age check, where that's the whole train your brain minutes a day concept. Where
count
every
the
day.
people going into a house and blah blah.
Yeah, but there's some interesting new stuff too. A lot of which is using the Switch's features in ways you wouldn't necessarily expect. For one thing, Nintendo's actually putting out a proper stylus now. I mean, technically they had one with Mario Maker 2 in Japan and Europe, but now they're planning to sell it separately so you can fill out those little Sudoku squares or write numbers and whatnot. And other games are going to support it too, so it seems like we're actually getting to the point where we're turning the Switch into like a Galaxy Note or something, where like Puzzles and Dragons, that puzzle game, that's going to support the stylus now, and then obviously Mario Maker does, and I assume more games will slowly start picking it up over time. I didn't really think styluses were ever going to make a comeback. Never mind like the Switch, just in general. Like, I didn't think the Galaxy Note...
Have you not seen
the Galaxy Note is huge, yeah.
Have you not heard of the Apple Pencil? That thing is amazing.
That's because of the Galaxy Note. Yeah, Samsung
that's a good point. I didn't even think about the Apple Pencil.
Yeah. No, but my point is, like, it is great, but if you told me 4 or 5, 6 years ago that the stylus was going to be the it accessory again, I would be like, really? But
I don't think it is the it accessory. I just think, like...
It doesn't feel like an it. It just feels like it has a place.
Yeah,
it
sure.
has a solid place.
That's fair. I do remember back in the day where Steve Jobs was always like, if you have a stylus, you're doing it wrong. And now there's the Apple Pencil.
I mean, the Note is still like, when I see a Note in the wild, it's like, whoa, that's a Galaxy Note. It's not like,
It's not like, whoa, look at that stylus.
That's, yeah, sure. But are you saying, whoa, because they're holding the stylus with the Note?
More like, will they just have the phone? Most of the time, they're not even using the stylus.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy the stuff you could do with it. Like, they have, like, air gestures you can make with the stylus to do stuff. It's very unnecessary. The Switch does not have these things.
Conducting a text or something?
Yeah, it's like you're playing Wii Music with just about the same result of accuracy. But yeah, so... Where was I getting at? Oh, yeah, so it comes with the stylus, but even without... It comes with the stylus, but even without just the added accessory, just the tech they have in the Switch is doing some cool stuff with. Like, do you guys remember... Well, first of all, because it's on Switch, multiplayer. First Brain Age game with multiplayer.
Really?
Yes. And it's using it for amazing activities like, I think it's only 2. But it's using it for amazing activities like count the number of birds on the screen, which I'm pretty sure is just the Toad mini game from Mario Party without Toads.
We're going to lose that to Angel, for sure.
Yeah.
He loves his birds.
He does. But, I thought that was a weird one for him to highlight. There's so many things you could do, and it's just like, use the Joy-Con like a clicker like you've done in every Mario Party game. But, alright, whatever. It does help your brain, I guess. But more interesting is the one where it uses the Joy-Con's IR blaster. And I don't know if you guys remember, but when Nintendo first did their Switch unveiling, the big January presentation way back in 2017, yeah, you're already making the motion, they did the whole, like, it tracks your mouth movement, and they did the thing where it can track rock, paper, scissors, and they're literally bringing over the rock, paper, scissors. Like, I remember at the time, I was like, oh, what are they going to do with that? And the answer is exactly the thing they showed us. So you can actually play some weird variant of rock, paper, scissors
I want to
in
say
Brain Training.
That was already in one of the Brain Ages.
Rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah, except you
How
have to...
did you do it?
Except, like... I'm pretty sure it was, and it was like a multiple choice thing. Like, they just give you... Because there's only 3 options. And on one screen, I want to say it told you, like, all right, here's hand, and then you have to lose. Or...
Yeah, no, it's that sort of thing. It's going to show you one.
And it just mixes it up, like, whether you have to win, so you have to, like, quickly tap, like, where they are, so...
And I just make the motion.
Yeah, which makes more sense.
Yeah, it is just kind of funny. I'm like, look at this, how it can look at rock, paper, scissors, and 2 years later, like, we found a use for it, finally. But there's one other cool one they're doing, which is... the rapid fire math, but instead of writing the numbers, there'll be a separate mode where you hold up the fingers that represent the answer. And presumably it's only 1 through 5 for obvious reasons, but that's kind of cool. That's something different. So,
well, sorry people that lost a finger.
Listen, they could sue Nintendo, I guess, for discrimination. But yeah, and I think what's kind of interesting about all this is like Nintendo's getting real creative with that IR blaster. I mean, it's right up there. It's like Ring Fit Adventure using it to read your pulse. So, like, if you're doing Ring Fit Adventure and you want to check, you can...
The Labo Toolkit, it was definitely...
Yeah, and that. Like, it's crazy.
I mean, if anything, this feels like a step down after having seen everything Labo does.
Yeah, that's true. But it's just crazy because, like, I remember on the Game Boy Color, they couldn't figure out what to do with their IR reader at the time. They're just like, you can transfer Pokemon with a link cable, or if you want to put the Game Boys real close together, you can send it, like, shortwave. But now
that never worked for me.
Yeah, exactly. But now here we are, however many years later, and they found all these crazy, unique IR uses.
Huh.
Yeah, but yeah, I think actually, if you look at Ring Fit and Brain Age, and I think about if you kind of like put them together or pair them together, it really goes to show, at least in my mind, how Nintendo just is doing casual games differently this generation. Like a few episodes ago, we talked about how like Ring Fit Adventure seems to be more gamey than Wii Fit. Like if anything, it's kind of the reversal, and it's not a fitness-fied game, it's gamified fitness. Or wait, it's not a gamified fitness, it's a fitness-fied game. I said that backwards. And I feel like this Brain Age is kind of like the more gamey cousin of past Brain Ages, because you see in things like the inclusion of the multiplayer, they have online leaderboards to compare your Brain Age against...
That's a bad thing, though.
Not anymore.
Have you ever had gamey?
Gamey. I thought you said gaming. I have had gamey meat, yeah. It's gamey. It's not bad. It's just gamey. But I thought you said gaming. That's what I was like, what are you talking about?
No, it's like gaming, because you said gamey.
Yeah, but no, like the cool one is the online leaderboard. You can actually compare your Brain Age score against your friends, and it'll just pull them off the fence.
I also feel like that was already a thing.
Was it?
I want to say it was, because I remember that was all we would do, compare Brain Age scores.
Well, unless you can still do it.
Unless we did it like, like in real life, like, oh, what's your score? But obviously not on the original DS. Maybe the 3DS version had leaderboards.
I never played the 3DS one, so some of this stuff might be
why. I had it, so I remember I played it for a good
You were one of the like 7 people that bought it?
Yeah.
Did we cover it on the podcast? I thought we didn't.
I'm pretty sure we...
You know what? We might have, now that you mention it.
Maybe.
Huh.
But because, I mean, I really liked the first one, so I saw no reason not to get the second one.
Well, this was the third one, so you didn't get the second one, apparently.
Second one for the US?
Third.
Oh.
Brain Age 1 and 2 were on the DS, and Concentration Training.
I didn't remember there was a sequel.
There was also Big Brain Academy and Big Brain Academy Big Brain. Or something like that on the Wii.
No, that one was weird. Like, I thought it was weird that it was just released really close to Big Brain. No, Brain Age.
Yeah.
It always felt like the...
One was like the party game version of the other.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, but...
Yeah, it was like Brain Age was the Taco Bell, and Big Brain Academy was the Del Taco.
I don't
We can also go into that debate. How Del Taco is worse than Taco Bell.
Yeah, it's easily worse.
Yeah, like...
Kenny Jason likes it.
I do like both, but I don't necessarily think Del Taco's better, because it's not. But I do like both.
Okay, well, we're in agreement there.
Yeah.
First debate done.
Check
right in
that
the books.
box. But yeah, there's another angle about the two games. Like when looking at them side by side, that I was kind of thinking about, which is talking about Brain Age and Ring Fit Adventure, which is Nintendo's getting to the point where all these like more casual things exist outside of just the software. So like with Ring Fit Adventure, one feature they announced since we last covered it is the game will let you still flex the Ring Kong with a Joy-Con attached and have it track what you're doing and earn in-game experience. So you could be like sitting at your desk and kind of like, you know, squishing it between your legs or whatever, and you'll actually earn in-game credit when you next sync it back to the Switch. So they're encouraging you to do exercise outside of that. And then Brain Age is doing something, well, it's actually like two forms of extensions. First, Brain Age will be one of the first games to actually use the new alarm system in the Switch firmware. So it can ping you once a day and light up the home button and vibrate to let you know, oh, you need to do your Brain Age check, which is kind of cool.
For a second, I thought this was on the 3DS. I'm all like, wait, what?
No, we're on the Switch. We're modern times. And then the second thing it does, which goes beyond the gamer system itself that's kind of cool, is Nintendo's going to provide an option to receive charts of your Brain Age progress via email to your My Nintendo associated email account. So you can actually get like weekly, kind of like how the parental control app shows you like your gameplay history. You can basically get all sorts of deep dive data into your Brain Age, which again serves as a way to remind you, oh, I didn't do it today. This email came in. I should probably go do it. So like it's just kind of interesting that they're going beyond just their own devices now. And you know they're small features in the grand scheme of things, but honestly, like for something like this, seems kind of noteworthy. I mean, anything that brings people back and provides that kind of like quote unquote stickiness is crucial to make something like this worthwhile in the long run for people, like to make them actually want to do it. You know, like if Ring Fit is supposed to help you exercise or Brain Age is supposed to help you stay sharp, it's smart to extend them beyond the Switch itself because not everyone's gonna always be at their Switch to do this.
So you're gonna get swole now?
I am picking up Ring Fit. I don't think I'll get swole. I think perhaps I'll fill my exercise ring on my Apple Watch.
Oh, the truth is, I'll fill my. I don't know what you were gonna go with that, but
no, I'll fill my exercise ring. No, I think I've heard it's. I've heard Ring Fit's actually pretty intense. Like the impressions from the media, like this is not a joke. This is for real.
I was listening to the IGN UK podcast, and they were recently talking about Ring Fit Adventure, and the guy Joe Scrabbles on it was talking about how he did start sweating a bit, but Joe Scrabbles is also a bigger dude, so
there is a leaner dude, Andre of Game Explained, who posted a before and after picture of him before he started it, and 30 minutes later, and he was all sweaty and so we'll see.
Oh, he's like a scarecrow.
He is like a scarecrow. He's about as tall as Shantae. He's super tall. You've seen him in person, right? At E3?
I don't think I've seen him. Maybe
I bump into him everywhere. He's a tall dude.
Wow, all right.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I'm surprised you haven't seen him because you're at these events with me. I bumped into him at, like, all the events.
I mean, I'm at the tourneys at these events.
That's true. Which he's not because he's running around covering things.
Yeah.
But anyway, the engagement ploys aside and how swole or not swole I'm going to get, I do wonder if we're in some sort of new, like, touch generation era here with Nintendo. Oh, okay. Well, no wonder, no more. No, but, like, seriously.
Just without the name.
We've got our new Wii Fit. We've got our new Brain Age. I'm starting to think, like, what? Is Nintendogs far behind? Like, we're probably going to get new Nintendogs at this point. It's been long enough.
Just wait till the January Nintendo Direct.
It'll probably pop up there, yeah.
It will pop up
would
there.
You get a new Nintendog? Did you guys play, what?
it will
Pop up there.
Oh.
We're influencing him too much, clearly. Did both of you play the original Nintendo?
Yes.
I've played it, but never owned any.
Oh, you never owned it. Huh. I thought you did.
I went to
2, would you buy it on Switch if it were to come to Switch?
No.
What about you?
No.
I actually don't know if I would either, to be honest. It's funny because, like, the original I really liked, like, a lot.
Cool, but I don't know.
I think we're, like, aged out of it. But I remember at the original, it was one of the few games that Nintendo actually gave me an advanced copy of when I was a sage on their forum.
I mean, you have
an
a pet,
influencer.
don't you?
I don't have a real dog.
Yeah, but she doesn't like me. So.
Wait, what?
I thought you have a pet, so like you have even less reason to get it. But
She doesn't like you.
No, she
I
doesn't
heard
like
your
me.
part. And why did your dog not like you? What have you done, Kevin?
I don't want to get into it because I'm gonna start cussing. So, and we are a family friendly podcast. So,
all right. There's so many, like, you're leaving so many tantalizing tidbits where it's just like, I feel like you're setting up. This is like the back door for a pilot for, like, the Kevin podcast where you just go on tangents and rants about who knows what and it's uncensored.
the Random Gaming Network of podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming soon.
To every platform near you. But what I was going to say is, like, I never had a real dog, so Nintendogs was the closest I got.
Did you have a fake dog?
I had a Nintendog. I had a Nintendog.
you must have had one of those robot dogs at some point, right?
I never had one of the
The ones that do the flips. Like,
no, I never did. I never had a Furby either.
Even like the, what are they called, Tecmos?
Did you ever had a Tamagotchi?
I had a Pocket Pikachu, 1 and 2. Pokemon Pikachu, not Pocket Pikachu. 1 and 2.
You didn't answer my question.
No, I did not. I had
Thank you.
I had the competitor. That's why that was my answer. But yeah, just bob and weave. But no, what I was gonna say is like, so when I got Nintendogs, it was because that's the episode. When I got Nintendogs, that was my first time having a dog, so to speak. But it was such a weird thing because so I got the game a little early for Nintendo, which was cool. It was like a month out. Because I was a Sage, which is their version of influencer in their form. And no, the reason I'm bringing it up is at the time, I was like, oh, I have this cool thing that no one else has. I should tell people what the game's like. So what I did was I made, and I found it, and we linked to it in the blog post or something, because I'm like, this is so cringy, but I have to do it. I made what was called the Ram Nintendo Dog Blog. And almost every day for the entire month from when I got the game to release, I did a daily update about my time with my dog, who I named Olimar. Don't know why. And
not a bad name.
Right? It actually has a good ring to it, doesn't it? And I did this dog blog, and the thing was, I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm just going to describe exactly what I did with the dog every day, because, people want to know how the game is. So I'm like, well, started the game and fed him and took him for a walk and ran into Shiggy and his dog Pick, which is definitely a reference to Miyamoto and Pikmin. And yeah, he has boring advice. Like, it was like the most like dry thing.
How old were you?
15 or 16. But the thinking was at the time I need to make it seem like what it would be like to own a real dog, but it's virtual. So I tried to just go through the exact motions, the mundane you go through with a normal dog. But then I was reading it back, and I'm like, oh god, this is so dry. But what's kind of funny is like, if you go read it now, there's this like weird little like B plot in it where I'm just like, I'm gonna show you a picture of Olimar, but I can't find my flashcard in my house. And then the next day I'm like, still can't find the flashcard. And like for like 6 of these updates, and just like, I don't know where the flashcard is. And guess what? I never did. I never showed a photo of him because I could never find the flashcard. But it's like, if you're reading through, it's just like, why would I even have written that in the first place? But so you want to read what 16-year-old Jason thought was a good idea, relink to it. But I just thought it was kind of a...
You were 16 when you did this?
Yeah, because I was covering it. I had exclusive access, so I was covering it as like, if you had a real dog, here would be the equivalent. But then for some reason, because it was a blog, I was like, oh, I need to be like personal about it. So I was like, oh yeah, I will show you a photo, but I can't find the flashcard. And for some reason, that became a whole thing. It was really bizarre. But I was reading it back and I was like, what was I doing? Listen, at that period of time, it somehow worked because then Nintendo started sending me stuff to give away on the site. We did a Pokemon Ranger contest, a Magnetic contest, and all these I made custom layouts like I did for Dog Blog, and they all did really well.
Do you have a lot of friends?
So, fun fact, no. There's a reason Nintendo went away in college when I got a life. So, no, but I enjoyed doing it. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know why I even brought this up. I just kind of like thinking about when I was thinking about Touch Generations.
I'm also wondering why you brought this up.
I think because like I was thinking about Touch Generations and that whole era, and that reminded me of Nintendogs, and I was like, oh, I did a dumb thing back then. I should go ahead and bubble that one back up for no reason. Anyway, would I buy new Nintendogs today? Probably not. But I'm sure there's a whole new subset of kids and tweens out there who would, and there's that kid-friendly Switch Lite that makes it seem likely. So, Angel, I think you're right. January Direct, they're going to announce it.
And that's going to give Ubisoft the okay to bring back their Imagine series.
Cats and dogs.
And babies.
And babies.
And whatever else they had. Fashion design.
I did somehow end up with cats on Game Boy Color, and I don't know how, because I was always a dog person, so I don't know who gave it to me or when or in what circumstance, but I have cats.
Someone tried to
I have Cats 2, not just Cats, Cats 2. Like the sequel. There were 2 cats.
You don't mean also.
I don't mean also, and I don't mean there was a game with only 2 cats in it. But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
That's right. There was a Nintendogs and Cats.
There was on 3DS. It was a launch title. It did not do great. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. The point is, Brain Age first has to come out before anything else, and we don't even know when it's happening. In Japan, it's December 27th. In Europe, it's January 3rd. NOA has not said a word. I feel like January makes sense because like you can piggyback off New Year's resolutions, but who knows? So time will tell. But it sounds like we're all getting it, which I did not expect to be the answer in the room. Weren't you saying you were going to get it?
No, I said this might be the first one I play.
Oh, this might be. Okay. Yeah. Might is in the direction
when I say
yes.
get it. I mean, I'll get it, but... Wait, when is it? Oh, wait.
We don't have a date.
That's okay, so it might be a non-issue then.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought it was like... I thought when the trailer came out, I didn't really... finish the trailer. I just saw like
Nintendo of America hasn't announced it.
Yeah, I just thought like, Brain Age is coming out. I thought it was like available next week or something. Why would they like make us wait a year for this thing?
It's not a year. It's like December in Japan. And
that's I had no idea when it was getting released like at all.
Man, why would they show us a trailer for Brain Age 2022? I don't get it.
No, I mean,
but I know I'm kidding. But yeah, so that was one familiar
clearly
face.
That's what happened with Metroid Prime 4.
I know, right? But they didn't show a whole trailer. They showed a logo.
Yeah.
And then they're like, it's coming. And they're like, JK, it's not. And now, I wonder if they're going to reuse any of those assets. Like, do you think so? They're rebooting Metroid Prime 4. I wonder if they're actually going to take what they had with Namco Bandai, rumored, whatever that game was, and turn that into something else or do something
probably
with that.
Probably not, because if I had to guess, people at Retro probably at one point thought about what would we do if we had a Metroid Prime 4. So they probably already had something in mind.
No, what I'm saying is, like, not a Metroid Prime 4, but are they going to do anything with that? Give it back to Namco as a new IP? Like, there's a pretty well-finished, move somewhere in progress game. They're really just going to scrap it all? I mean, it might be that bad that they have to if they had to cancel the whole thing.
Namco has enough stuff on their plate that they could easily do that and not have really worry about it, I feel.
It's just, I'm thinking more like the investment. But
I mean, just look how, like, I don't know, I feel like they've already gotten a lot of mileage from Tekken, because that still seems to be going and still getting, like, DLC and characters.
Yeah.
I mean, when did that game come out? Like 3, 4, 5 years ago?
I don't know.
Tekken 7?
Yeah.
It's probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Man, that's pretty crazy for a fighting game.
Welcome to the games and services future that we now
I think it's just got the Walking Dead dude added
to it.
Negan.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, what were we talking about?
We were switching gears from one familiar face to another.
That's not a boxing reference.
No, but it ties into my dumb metaphor at the top. Well, I was going to say, we're talking about Pokemon. Pokemon Sword and Shield info. There's been like a steady drip feed of it. And it's weird because it's like Pokemon that you didn't think would be in the news, like Farfetch'd and Ponyta are suddenly relevant again. Sword is getting...
Surfetch'd? That's my boy.
He's great, isn't he?
Well, I hate that he is a Sword exclusive.
I feel like...
It makes sense?
Yes. You're getting Shield, aren't you?
I'm getting Shield.
Well, does it make sense? Because he has a sword and a shield, and both are part of the same leak. He broke the leak in half. The leaf is the shield, and the
but here's the thing. When I think of Sur, I think of being knighted. When I think of a knight, I think more sword than shield.
I do too. Yeah. So yeah. They're explained away.
But I'm very bummed out that
but he's great, isn't he? And then Ponyta looks like, by comparison, Ponyta looks like someone put too many Snapchat filters on a My Little Pony doll and ended up with Ponyta.
Shield exclusive?
It's and it's interesting that...
Is that how you pronounce it?
Ponyta? Yeah. Isn't it?
Ponyta.
I always pronounce it Ponyta.
Ponyta.
You know, like pony and then just ta at the end?
Yeah, I just flow it. Ponyta.
It sounds like you're trying to pronounce it in Spanish.
Yeah, it sounds like you're saying
Ponyta. Is there any way we can get the... Ponyta sounds weird too, though.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's Ponyta.
Actually, no, I mean in the anime, it was always Ponyta.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was never Ponyta.
Well, and I call myself a Pokemon fan. Oof. But yeah, I find it funny that Surfetch'd is a whole new Pokemon for Sword, and then Shield just gets like the alternate version of the random like unicorn now.
Well, we also don't know what Rapidash looks like. I mean, it obviously looks
again
like Rapidash.
Farfetch'd gets a whole new Pokemon, and Ponyta and Rapidash get to be purple. It just seems like Sword got a little bit of a...
Design-wise, they got the short and the
Yeah. But not even design-wise, just concept-wise. One's a whole new Pokemon, and one's just the same Pokemon that looks different, and has maybe a different type. Why are you giving me that look?
Because I'm saying, like, it's just aesthetic that they got the short end. I mean, it's a psychic type now. It's not even fire.
Yeah, I guess it's like, it's somewhere between aesthetic and categorization.
It's literally not, like,
it's a categorization thing.
Yeah, you can't use it the same way as you would Ponyta and Rapidash. The fact... Actually, no one even used Ponyta and Rapidash. Or Farfetch'd, for that matter. Which is probably why they're getting, quote-unquote, like, buffed.
Yeah. So. I think what actually got me isn't so much, like, the Pokemon, but how Game Freak chose to go about introducing them. Because they're doing, like, a lot of different approaches to how they're rolling these guys out. I mean, like, Surfetch'd was that weird Pokemon.com glitch that then wasn't. And then Ponyta was part of this... It's actually kind of cool, like the 24-hour live stream thing where they just set up a camera in a Galarian forest and then just like let things go. I mean, it I don't know. It just seems like kind of it's silly because there were only 10 Pokemon shown over the whole 24 hours, 2 of which weren't even full body. But I thought it was just kind of a fun way to like build up the idea that this is like a whole new wild world with the wild area and everything.
This game releases November
17th, I believe.
17th, okay. I'm starting to get like oversaturated with news about this game. I just want it to come out already.
That's kind of the other thing I was going to say, though, is it's interesting in that they're doing what?
I don't know. Let's see how the official pronunciation of Ponyta is.
Oh, he went to go get the Pokédex 3D for the Nintendo 3DS.
The official way.
Like the Game Informer.
That's okay. I've been saying it wrong.
Ponyta.
Yeah. No, the Game Informer thing was interesting because they said a lot without saying anything. And that's what I'm kind of curious about, because like they talk so much about how they're going to streamline the game and what that can mean, and then they didn't really like. It sounds like on the surface they're doing exactly like they've heard Angel on the podcast be like, "I want competitive like battle simulator," and they're like, "We're not going to go all the way there, but we're going to throw some stuff your way." I mean, they're building in autosave, which seems like a minor thing, but kind of makes a difference. They're going all in with experience sharing. It's default now. They completely have removed HMs. They before have toyed with taking them away, but now they're saying, yep, all the environmental puzzles and having to assign a move to a Pokemon just so you can do that, gone. They
kind of what it was in Sun and Moon, except
they started to toy with it, but now it's like they're saying it's done, like done, like forever done. And then they're doing like this whole 2 tiers of gyms now. So there's like Major League and Minor League, and there's gonna be 16 gyms between the 2 versions, but they won't all be the same gym. Obviously, it's 8 per game, so it's kind of like what overlaps, what doesn't. How's that work? That's more chances to beef up your strategy against trainers. Like they're doing all this stuff and all that's like, oh, okay, that sounds more in Angel's direction. But then there's the one where it's like, what does that mean? Which sounds the most like what you want, Angel, which is the whole any Pokemon, your favorite Pokemon, can now be used for competitive play. But they don't.
I mean, there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered if that's the case.
Yeah.
Because if they're just changing the nature, which is a big thing, then there's still a lot of things they have to do.
And they're sort of hinting that they might be... It's interesting, because here's how he described it. Well, first you're saying, in the series you get certain Pokemon they have to switch out at some point, but a lot of people, want to do competitive battles with their favorites, da-da-da. This time around...
I mean, nothing ever stops you from doing competitive battles with your favorites.
Well, to have them play competitively.
No, even that. I mean, I've always, gotten all my favorite Pokemon. I usually build all my competitive teams with my favorite Pokemon. Right. I think what they mean is did you get attached to that starter that you had?
That's what they're getting at. Here's how they word it. This time around, we really want to introduce some systems, mysterious, that help the player be able to take those Pokemon they caught in the beginning, as you were saying, and the first one they chose, and actually take them straight into competitive battle. There's a lot of hidden parameters to Pokemon that aren't surfaced to the player. We're doing a lot of stuff in the back, and introducing systems that allow players to make sure that Pokemon they want to use in competitive battles are viable. Which says a whole lot of nothing, but also says a lot.
Yeah, because, it was pretty nuts, and frankly a little ridiculous, the things I had to do, or anyone in general, to, get them competitive. Because, I'll try to give, an abridged version just because, it's just already going to sound ridiculous. But, let's say I want to make a very competitive Weavile. So I want it to be, super fast and super strong. That's all I care about. So that means I don't want it to have special attack, which means I have to get the right nature that just gives you plus attack and plus speed, but there's always 2 minuses that come with them, so I have to make sure one of the minuses is in special defense and special attack, because obviously you don't need those. And besides that, so once you're breeding, I guess even if I train it perfectly, it's still no guarantee that it'll be a perfect Pokemon, because any Pokemon could have a random value from 1 to 31 just randomly assigned to it. So I could have done everything correctly, but my Weavile will be 31 points off of speed. And that's just tough love. So I just have to get another Weavile that just hopefully has higher stats than that, and then I have to breed that Weavile, because then the odds of passing that higher trait to the other Weavile gets increased, and you pretty much keep doing that until you have perfect stats across the board.
Right. So the question becomes, how much of that do they make transparent? The thing I keep...
And that's just the hidden stuff. I mean, then you also have alright,
IV training.
For some reason, Weavile can't just straight up learn Ice Punch. I have to breed it with a Buniri that learns Ice Punch, but for some reason, Buniri can't learn Ice Punch. I have to get it to breed with a Tyrogue that learns Ice Punch, because I can't have the Tyrogue breed with the Weavile. Right. So it's are they all gonna speed that up?
That's the thing. The thing, you know what? I actually keep circling back to.
That's the main reason for breeding, usually, just to get the right egg moves and stuff, and the nature. But they had items that literally made that easier. So I don't know.
The thing I keep circling back to isn't so much what they'll change, but how are they actually gonna go about communicating this? Because here's the thing.
In universe-wise, it kind of worries me. Are you gonna take your Pokemon to a center, and it's oh, this is the DNA center. We're just gonna
splice some genes.
Yeah, we're gonna tweak this, snip that. There you go.
We hooked up with the scientists in Rhyme City to bring you...
Your modest Pikachu is now Rash.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. And not even just in the game, but just, to players how they communicate. Because the director made a reference to, hidden parameters and background stuff and all that. And I'm curious if they plan to leave it hidden and in the background for players to figure out. Because, past Pokemon Tales, you kind of figure it out for yourself, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what therapy was for.
Right,
which,
yeah, but like so fans got together and figured it out. Yeah. Or are they going to be upfront
so much respect for Joe Merrick. It was really entertaining watching his Twitter feed because he was literally watching the stream the entire time.
Oh, yeah, he did the 24 hours.
Yeah, that's right. So that was...
Yeah.
It's like, it moves. Like, is it looping? And it's like, well...
Yeah, or is he just going stir crazy because he's been awake for 23 and a half hours? But no, I was going to say, like, I think there might actually be a chance they may be upfront about the changes for once because, like, with how much gaming is splintering in different directions right now, one thing I've become increasingly aware of is how differently games are now being conveyed to us, the customer.
Well, that's just
like how they're
Nintendo.
actually telling us
literally
about features.
Every other like company, like with at least with fighting games, I don't know how it is with shooters. That up.
Yeah.
But like fighting games have always like told you like all the crazy patch notes. It wasn't until like this generation that we finally know what's going on with Smash Brothers.
I don't even mean just
and
that.
even then, it's not even like super detailed. Like something that's a little cryptic, but I mean, it's better than nothing. It's like Nintendo's finally come around to hey, people care about this stuff. Let's let them.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that like. Well, first of all, in the case of Pokemon, it's kind of like, are they actually going to reveal how the sausage is made? Because that like part of the whole Pokemon thing is discovery, and I'm kind of wondering like if they go a little too hard on it.
I mean, as tedious as it was,
yeah, go ahead.
I will say that like doing a lot of the breeding and Sun and Moon, like I said like a while ago, it did made me go back full circle or 180 on. I was super pro hacking and just straight up giving your Pokemon the best stats it could possibly earn because I know I could do that. I just don't want to waste the time.
Right.
To going like, you know what? I really love the fact that I actually put effort into this Pokemon and it makes you feel more special.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of what they seem to be addressing.
Yeah, so now it kind of feels like we're going to go into this weird middle ground where it's like, yeah, because I mean, they do start to feel like just another number. Like when I was like hacking Pokemon, I made after I messed with my favorite ones, I started just making a whole bunch of other Pokemon that I was interested in, but didn't necessarily care about.
Right.
They just became like, oh, who do I mess with this time?
Right.
And where that's to be more selective with my time because, we have lives and stuff.
Right. Also, side note, I mentioned about sausage. That reminded me. So you know how you can make food in the new Pokemon Sword and Shield?
Oh, yeah.
Game Informer asked them, so what's the sausage made of? And Game Freak would not say. They said they didn't know, which I think means you're eating Pokemon, which does make sense, but also
it's clearly Slowpokes, right?
Their tails, their whole bodies.
I would say Slowpokes.
Huh. Only Slowpokes, not Bros or Kings, just Pokes?
Yeah, just
I mean, considering how easy it is to breed Pokemon in that universe, I would say there's no really food shortage issue.
But where's the meat coming from is the question.
There's clearly no other, like...
It has to be Pokemon.
Ignoring that one episode of the anime where they had normal fish.
It has to be Pokemon.
Yeah, like, there's literally only Pokemon. Like,
I mean, the tea guy, I forgot his name, Poltegeist, you're supposed to drink him.
No, he allows you to drink him.
That's right, he allows it.
Assuming you get close enough to him.
Right. It's a delicate dance. But the broader point I was making, though, about like companies and their messaging is like even like obviously as the meta grows, how are different companies approaching it? As as you were pointing out, Angel, like Nintendo's finally getting up to speed with being open about it versus their old tried and true method. But even if you ignore the meta, like it's just interesting if you look at how games are presented to us now compared to I don't know like the GameCube days or the early Wii days. Because back then it was like every major release followed the same drumbeat. You got the first reveal, some hands-on info, X number of features showcased, and then it was released. And if your game was high profile, you could pretty much guarantee that was the flow of information that would come out. But if you compare that to like right now, it's kind of interesting because it's all over the place. Like we've been talking about all this Pokemon stuff, and Ken, you're saying it's too much. It's oversaturation.
I think it's just something that especially Nintendo has been doing this year where they just overload me with information. Just release it.
But what's weird...
I feel about Animal Crossing. It's like, I almost feel like I played it already.
Like that...
the Animal Crossing stuff was unnecessary.
Or Mario Kart.
When was it? 2 years ago when they showed the Smash Ultimate changes? That went on for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, even I thought a lot of those were like, really? Like, do I need to know that Olimar's helmet cracks? Like, let me figure that out when I pause.
But here's what's weird. Nintendo doesn't do that with everything. So they're doing that. Pokemon's over a month away, and they've been doing that since May with the first reveal. And it started with me going, "Wow, this game looks the same as all the others." To wow,
okay, well, they did that with Smash. They're doing that with Pokemon. They did it with Animal Crossing.
Here's what's
Mario
weird.
Kart. They literally
but then simultaneously, they are not doing it with a game that comes out in 3 weeks, Luigi's Mansion 3. We got 2 pieces of information about it: the reveal, and here's a couple of the modes, and that's it, which is great. But then simultaneously, did you know I bet you didn't, on the website for Luigi's Mansion 3, there is in the small print they're doing DLC for both Scarescraper and Scream Park, meaning co-op expansions and competitive expansions, which is cool.
So that's cool.
But why would they spend so much time going into the weeds about Pokemon and not even spend a minute to be like, hey, we're gonna make some cool new content for Luigi too. It just struck. It, like the balance is so weird.
Well, because Luigi's Mansion isn't a sort of as deep of a game as, say, a Pokemon.
Yeah, I guess my point is though,
Smash.
like they could do one less Pokemon thing and be like, here's an update on Luigi.
Oh,
we're
absolutely.
planning DLC.
I'd rather have that,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
But what we've seen of Luigi's Mansion 3 already, like I'm already sold.
Oh yeah.
Like
But-
I was sold on Pokemon Sword and Shield when they announced Sword and Shield.
right.
I'm pretty sure everybody was sold until like the National Dex stuff, but that's a whole different story.
Right.
But like, yeah, it's just
It
it's
is.
just
There is a
overload.
little. I just feel like the thing that's bothering me about Luigi is I feel like when they announced Scream Park in the direct, we're all kind of like, because there's like, oh, it's all like Mario Party mini games, whatever.
Not even the good ones.
Yeah, but if they were just like, by the way, we're gonna make more, and you could even throw in like based on your feedback or something, because I'm sure they're watching feedback. That's how you do it with all DLC. Like that would have made it seem much more like, oh, that could really be a cool thing. Maybe they are gonna bring back the Nintendo Land minigame.
But then
And
you're
I know
also-
those are false dreams of mine, and I want Nintendo to let me have those false dreams.
But then you're also telling the audience like, hey, and don't worry, you're gonna be able to pay for more.
Yeah,
of
but
this
that's
content,
never
which-
stopped them before. They used to not do that, and then around the time of, I think it was Twilight Princess, or not Twilight Princess, wow, Breath of the Wild, they started announcing DLC before the game came out. Now they don't care.
That was
True,
that was
true,
one of the first
true.
times
Yeah.
where like we always like to be up
They
front.
did used to always be like, it's the whole game. Like Reggie, I remember Reggie
I remember
coming
the
out in
industry
interviews and
always
being
like-
like, we sell you an entire game, and only then do we start development of the DLC. And now Nintendo's
right.
like, hey, here's a fifth of Splatoon, we'll give you the rest later. Although that was free, so that's a bad example. But
No, I remember like the community in general was at a consensus at that point that like, why can't everyone just be like Nintendo and actually tell us what the DLC is? And now,
yeah.
even
And-
Sakurai was like, I don't want to do this, but like,
Right.
yeah, with the characters.
And it's funny because like there is no necessarily right or wrong way to do any of this. It's just interesting to me how like diversified the idea of selling a game to a person has become with all the different things. Like look at Mario Kart Tour for example. That was radio silent.
Can we not?
Well, yeah, that was radio silent until like 3 weeks before it came out. And anecdotally, all the people in my office that have Mario Kart Tour only heard about it because someone else told them it was out. Nintendo did not market it at all, and yet 90 million downloads in the first week. That is a record for the most downloads a mobile game has ever had until a week later when Call of Duty Mobile got 100 million. Bad timing. But still, that's 90 million in a week off of 3 weeks of like a trailer. And that was fine. So clearly that method works. So they could do less, like you're saying. But also the Pokemon drip feed seems to be working. People are talking about it all the time. So it's just kind of this weird, like, I don't know. It's just one of these weird things where like now Mario Kart Tour, because it's a game of service, now the marketing's kicking into overdrive. Now it's everywhere. But they're constantly doing updates. They have the new 14 tracks and racers and whatever, the new tour cycle. But like, they got to that 90 million without having to do anything, basically. So it's just interesting how like, communicating a game to people is now this whole like it's not as clean cut as it was in like 2003. But I guess gaming is in its general. Like games as
really
services.
love that game.
What?
I mean, those high schoolers really.
Oh
love
yeah,
that
no, it's. The more like after you told me that people like actually really liked it, I started sort of like looking around a bit more, like just browsing around like Twitter or like hearing people in the office talk about it and being like, oh, what do you like about it? Yeah, a lot of people seem to like not mind the controls. One of our mutual friends even said he kind of wishes Mario Kart Regular would do auto drive.
Which you can do, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
I want to put.
But that's
It
someone,
goes really slow though.
but it does go really
But it
slow.
does.
But that's someone who like is a gamer in the very traditional
Yeah,
sense.
but he
True,
also
true.
doesn't play 200cc though,
Ah,
which
yeah.
which is,
casual. I don't play 200cc.
No, I know.
Stop at
Sorry,
150.
I'm
I don't know, but I feel like well, I mean, at least like for me and I guess the other people that it sounds kind of weird to say, like the other people that play Mario Kart competitively, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like once we went 200cc, everything else just wasn't as fun anymore. It just felt way too slow. Even 150.
Right.
I mean, it was just more interesting to have to let go of the gas and actually brake once in a while. Because before you just never do it. It's just like something you don't think about.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, I actually have to not take this jump because then I'm gonna careen off the course.
I mean, I brake constantly in 150.
I don't really.
Well,
I sometimes like
I
going
also
gas.
play bikes.
Oh,
Interesting.
What a choice that is.
Yeah, it's a great choice.
Well,
I
in the
love playing bikes.
Wii, if you didn't pick bike, you were just.
I'm gonna
asking
be
to
honest. The
lose.
Wii Mario Kart is probably one of my least favorite of all of them. I don't know why. It just did not click with me. I love 7. I love DS. I love 8. But Wii, I just was not feeling it. Maybe it was the wheel. I know you can.
Why'd you use the
probably
wheel?
It's probably the wheel.
But like
I never used the wheel.
Well, because take out the
Oh,
wheel,
that's right,
all
because
the
you were-
tracks
yeah,
are
you-
still super wide to accommodate the
all of them.
wheel. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And they had 12 racers instead of 8, and it just felt like there was this thing that was like, oh, everything's bigger so we can accommodate motion control.
I guess that was actually one of the.
Just saying.
Besides DS, that one was also probably one of the most competitive Mario Karts.
Really?
Oh yeah.
DS I love.
The speedrunning scene for Wii was nuts. Oh no, yeah, DS, yeah, it's in a league of its own. But the Wii one, I mean, that one you definitely had to, dig deeper, play beyond. But I liked it.
No Mario Kart is bad. It just wasn't
Super
as
Circuit?
good. I actually like Super
64.
Circuit. Whoa.
I said it.
Whoa. Man, this is the hot take episode.
Also, Super Mario Kart.
Okay, I agree with that. It gives me a headache when I was a kid and I tried to play it.
How's that any different than Super Circuit then?
I don't know, but it's true. It is true. When I play Super Circuit on Game Boy Advance,
All
I
the
have
tracks
less
in
of an
Super
issue.
Circuit are in Mario.
But I think the way they do the Mode 7, like spinning the track around you thing, is a little less weird. It's like cleaned up or something. I don't know. It feels different. Like to my head.
Weird.
Yeah, Super Circuit looks way better than...
Yeah.
Oh no,
yeah.
it definitely does. I mean,
And the way it rotates around
Yeah,
is
it's
more
much-
natural
yeah.
feeling.
but yeah,
Because it like Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart is like dizzying almost for me when I was younger, which makes it weird that I now have like a Super Mario Kart hoodie.
I mean, it doesn't help that it always splits your screen in two,
that too.
whether you want to. Or
That
not.
also hurts.
Yeah. But yeah. So messaging is weird is what I was getting at. But I did want to ask you though, because we were talking about mobile and messaging and stuff. Like Mario Kart seems to be handling okay. Nintendo's starting to do it well with
Oh,
Smash.
I see what you did there.
What?
I said I see what.
Oh,
you
handling
did.
okay. Yeah, I wish I saw. I didn't see. But I know you had a bone to pick about a different game that is trying to message or not. I don't know what's the situation. First of all, what's the game?
I don't know.
What's the
It's been playing
situation?
a lot of like random games. I mean, between like I'm usually always rotating between like Brawl Stars, and it just keeps adding stuff that makes me happy. They add new characters. I don't know.
Do they message it out well?
Yeah, they actually every couple weeks they have these like developer diaries where the devs come out. It's basically like Nintendo Directs, but
Right.
just for that game and talk about it. Oh, we heard you. We're literally redesigning a character, and they do.
Right.
And they'll like add some perks, add some this, and that's all been great. And then it feels like like a few days ago, like Hearthstone did the same thing. They're like, oh, we heard you guys wanted us to mix up the meta a little more, so we're gonna bring back these old cards that you
Did
guys
they
loved.
like explain the changes fully, or did
No,
they just
they-
kind of go, "Here you go"?
No, they did, but I mean, they were just like, oh, we're bringing back these cards, and then people were like, oh, those cards, like, we want you to bring back these more interesting cards, not like the cards that literally broke the game. And now we're pretty much back to, oh, I'm playing this deck again that I pretty much do nothing and I just lose. So I don't know. It's not very fun.
So what makes it not like what?
They get
is
rid
it
of-
just the cards aren't good, or like
No, the cards are too good. Like, it just gets rid of a lot of agency to the player. Like, it just comes down to, even if I play everything perfectly, I could play everything perfectly and I'll still lose because some of these cards are just that good.
I see.
And it's like, they created this rotation system where they got rid of older cards just like Pokemon and every other
Right.
card game to alleviate that. But now they brought back the culprits.
So not realizing they're the culprits, or sort of
I don't
hoping to
know.
ruffle some
I think,
feathers.
I mean, luckily it's like for a limited time, but it does sound like it's gonna be like for a couple months, which
Right.
is like, oh, like it was just when I was starting to have like a lot of fun. Well, I was always having fun with the game, but I
Right.
was like reaching new heights with it, and now it's like bringing it way back down.
See, this is the games of service problem and the messaging problem, because like theoretically, if this was 2003 and the game did a thing, and then and then they're like the sequel won't do the thing, it's not like you have to worry. Oh, but the sequel's now doing or the third one's doing the thing again. Like,
Yeah, I mean, in theory
It's
sounded
just one and
okay,
done.
but it ended up being not okay. Yeah.
yeah, it's just for some reason it just really fascinates me how much like
Same thing
gaming
kind of
has to
happened with
adapt to this stuff.
Same thing
now.
kind of happened with Smash Bros. 2, which is kind of funny because for the two people that made Mii Brawler,
Yeah.
like there was a mechanic with Mii Brawler that pretty much like after I think it was like their up B, like they were able to pretty much react out of it at a rate that would pretty much make it a viable move, and it made that character, a viable character, not
Sure.
like top tier, not low tier.
Just viable.
And then so when the game first came out, they weren't able to do that. And then after a patch, it's like, oh, cool, like they buffed up my character. And then like a couple patches later, they took that away, and like it wasn't even like breaking anything or
Right,
winning tournaments.
right.
But now like it's like why? It's like
Yeah, it's kind of odd. Are there any games you're playing that have been going through growing pains of sorts, or maybe for the better?
The only one that comes to mind is Destiny and Destiny 2.
Well, that was like a complete overhaul, wasn't it? Sort of.
Well, yeah.
What'd they do exactly?
The first year of Destiny was not a train wreck, but it was manageable. Hey, I love that game.
choked on my water.
I'm allowed. I'm allowed to call it a small train wreck. No, it was more like a car crash than a
we're
train
gonna
wreck.
call it a possum something.
He called it a possum.
I always said that Destiny 1 was the best 6 out of 10 video game that I've ever played in my life. I will
I
say
thought
that
that's a kind of general
I die.
consensus on that one. I've heard
Yeah,
other people
Destiny
say
1.
similar.
But then it became like the best 8 out of 10 that I ever played once they overhauled it after the first year with the Taken King expansion. And then Destiny 2. Destiny 2 first year was definitely a train wreck. Like, especially considering that I had put 1,000 hours in the first Destiny, like across the like the 2.5 years that I played.
Uh-huh.
And then Destiny 2 came out, and I put maybe less than 100 hours because, man, that game was devoid of anything that made the first game good. And then, of course, they did what's now pretty much just cycle. They released an expansion that overhauled the game again, and they made it good again. And now,
is it like the first one again? So is it like the upside version of what's happening with Hearthstone, or is it?
Yeah, we'll go with that. I don't know, just.
But too little, too late for you. At least as far as you going back into that.
No, I'm back on that train, baby, and I'm not getting off anytime soon. Just.
Is that a subscription game, or is
no,
it just you just buy the DLC?
You just buy the DLC and you're pretty much good. Except now that games as a service is definitely a thing. They pretty much added battle passes.
Oh boy, here we go.
No, but it seems manageable, and I don't know. It's games as a service.
Games as a service is such a bizarre. If you stop and think about it, it's such a crazy like turn the industry on its ear sort of thing.
When will we see movies as a service? Is that even a thing already?
Netflix?
Yeah, technically. I guess
like
the AMC A-list.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah.
I would have called that a movie as a service. Like,
yeah. Subscriptions are the future, guys. Get ready. We're gonna have like 20,000 subscriptions for different things.
What if pretend like the Lord of the Ring didn't exist or hadn't come out yet, and then when the first one comes out, they're like, you could give us this amount of money now, and you'll have entry to the rest of the movies when they're eventually made. Would that be more comparable to it? Because that's more like it sounds like
yeah.
Or you can wait and see.
That would basically be
you know what's interesting though?
Like for a series, like they obviously not obviously. I mean, at one point they said we already have Transformers 8, 9, and 10 planned out, or I don't know what. You know how they keep promising there's another series or something. But
it's interesting because it's so
the Star Wars cast. Every Star Wars movie for the next 8 years.
Well, that's 2 movies because they're scaling back. But it's so interesting how if you think about the whole games of service thing, it's really flying by the seat of your pants kind of because Fortnite, for example, its revenue it's making is down. I saw some stats down 50% compared to a year ago. And their battle launcher they're calling Chapter 2, which is going to be apparently a whole new map. I guess in a move to try and boost it back up. But if you think about it, that stuff takes time to develop. So they have to be able, with a game of service, to spot that trend back when it was in its prime with the World Championship a few months ago, and already be halfway through development at that point to anticipate this drop-off now, or else they're stuck in a Destiny 2 situation where there's a whole year where it's just kind of sitting doing nothing.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so it's such a different world than
the dark ages for us Destiny fans. That first year of Destiny 2,
it's such a different world gaming than it was when we were growing up with it. It's just even Mario Kart, how we were all hating on it last episode, and then you, Angel, were just the kids at the school love it, and it's oh wow, that's it's a totally different type of gaming than what we're used to. It's so
literally don't really see the negatives.
Yeah, so. it's just such a we're like the old men yelling at the clouds or whatever.
I thought Bowser being in it would keep me going, but I think I'm very close to just deleting it.
Here's my hot take: I actually prefer games as a service. But that's just me.
Go on. I'm curious why.
I mean, in general, you don't
like live games, sort of.
You like the freshness that
sort
comes
of,
with it,
yeah. Like when I was talking about Wolfenstein,
for multiplayer games, or do you even for Because I feel some games just don't work as a games as a service, or maybe
Well, yeah, you wouldn't make The Last of Us as a games as a service. It just wouldn't work. Single player games, obviously, as a but stuff like Destiny or Overwatch.
It's exciting.
Switch. Games. It's those games that I can put a podcast to,
right, and just sort of
play
while zoning out.
Yeah.
No, that's not to say they're bad. I don't think they're bad. It's just such a difference than it was.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A decade ago, which I don't think anyone saw that coming quite to the extent it has.
I think that's definitely been the quote unquote revolution of this generation of gaming.
Yeah.
Where the PS3, Xbox 360, Wii era was more, all right, downloadable games, and we're gonna start patching your games, and
Yep, and gaming to audiences that didn't game before, like the Wii.
And that's especially where like online gaming took off.
Yeah,
that was the revolution of that generation. This generation.
It makes me wonder: was Xbox just a little ahead of its time with when Xbox One was first announced? Like, oh, it's all gonna be digital, and you'll have like digital rights management, like all this crazy stuff, and people lost their minds, and then it was backpedaled entirely. If you think about it now, like if you look at now what games as services are, that's what Xbox was trying to set up. They're just a couple years ahead of it. Like if a console came out now, it's like all your games are things you get from the store.
I'm going to say.
No, it's got to have a disc. They confirmed.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't ahead of its time because games as service are still frowned upon.
Right. That's
true. The new Ghost Recon is a live game.
Right.
And people hate it. Wolfenstein.
I think
people hate the fact that it was a live game. There's a tipping
point where people only want to get invested. It all goes back to Reggie's favorite thing. I think it was Iwa too. That everyone competes for people's entertainment time. So if a game of service is coming into play, and then another game of service, and another game of service, people are like, I don't have 80,000 hours to invest, or 1,000 hours in Destiny to invest in every single game. Give me a shorter experience I can just take in at once.
That's like the ultimate downside to these long games in general. Like,
yeah,
I really, really want to get back into Monster Hunter World, because I've barely started it just because it came out when Smash Bros. Was out, and I didn't have the PS4 at the time. Yeah, and now like the DLC's coming out.
Oh, that looks insane. The Resident Evil DLC.
I mean, even like besides the Resident Evil, like they came out with the whole Iceborne thing, and they charted out their plan of action and blah blah blah. And
I think they said that they were done with Monster Hunter World. I think they said that the next Monster Hunter thing will be a new game. Like really? Iceborne was, Iceborne was like a one and done thing.
Because because they have, I guess they just like put out that they have like some major updates. I don't know how big major is, but I guess it's not like another Iceborne, I guess.
Yeah, like the expansions are out of the question, I think, is what they said.
I think the one that gets me is when it's like...
Just as long as I beat it before the Mila Jovovich... How did I say her name?
Jovovich.
Jovovich?
Yeah, Jovovich.
Yeah, before her movie
September
comes out.
2020.
Yeah. Oh, on my birthday month.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be 31.
Yeah, you will. What I was going to say is I think the weird thing is... like, the smaller games are starting to do it, too. So Nintendo the other day tweeted out the roadmap for Daemon X Machina. And there's, like, 5 updates, and I'm like, for who?
I forgot that game came out.
Like, I mean, the game, like, if people are into the game, awesome. I'm glad they have support for their game. But I'm just thinking, like, if every game of every... if the B tier and C tier and A tier games are all doing it, who is playing all these? Gaming's audience is bigger than it's ever been. No doubt about that. Something like 76% of people play games now. The number of kids who play games went up from 93 to 94, 95%. This is all NPD numbers I saw the other day. But point is, if gaming's that big, so yeah, there's audience for this stuff. But at some point, there's overlap. Like what is the tipping point here? And I think some of the frustration people have with Recon and all that is that tipping point is starting. So it's kind of like, Daemon X Machina is like, hey, what if we did this update or that update? It's like, are you really going to go back to it, though? Like, someone on the other end of this microphone is like, I'm going back to it, but most people, there's going to be someone, but at some point, that's diminishing returns for the publisher, and then it gets into the business side, and yada yada. But it's like the Wild West right now for gaming, for especially live games. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I don't really have a deep insight beyond that. It's just going to be interesting to see what happens. But for us to talk about like how they keep people in the loop and companies have to communicate to people. One bit of news that was not all communicated was how poorly the developers at Alpha Dream, the Mario and Luigi series, were apparently doing financially because
laundering money?
No, they weren't doing anything illegal. They just weren't making money. They filed for bankruptcy, seemingly out of nowhere, which is a bummer because the Mario and Luigi series is pretty fun. But
maybe if Nintendo let them make a new one instead of remakes.
That's what I'm thinking. Like in a way,
It's like me who loves Bowser and whose favorite game was Bowser's Inside Story didn't even get the remake because
it came out 4 years ago.
Yeah, I honestly even thought wasn't it on 3DS? Because it looked really good visually.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I can't say I'm surprised they fell into this rut because the signs aren't there, but the trajectory of Mario and Luigi, as you're saying, just hasn't been great. I mean, if you like issue number 1, I think before we even get to the remakes, is the games kind of started to spin their wheels a bit. Like the first 3 were great, but by Dream Team, I started to get the sense that Alpha Dream was just kind of running out of ideas. It was like Mario and Luigi go through time, Mario and Luigi go into Bowser's body, Mario and Luigi go into I don't know, Luigi's dreams, and like that
really?
that was kind of no. I was gonna say that in and of itself was kind of cool. Like the stuff they did with Luigi's ego and his fears and all that, and all the clusters of Luigi.
The only downside was like the extreme hand holding. They did not let you skip any tutorials, and there were so many for things you did in every single game.
And I thought the idea, right? Yeah, I remember you complained about it at the time, but I thought the idea was cool. But you could tell they're kind of like, so where do they put them next? And I was like, oh, well, let's reverse it. What if the Paper Mario world pops out into the Mario and Luigi world? It's just like the exact same basic idea of like they go to this place and then it comes to them, and then they do. And I just feel like they're starting to run dry on ideas, which is probably why they started doing all the remakes.
Paper Jam was really fun.
I'm not saying they're not fun. They're quality games.
I didn't feel like they were running out of ideas.
I don't know. It just felt like it's the exact same recipe, just different ways. Again,
okay.
I'm not saying it's a knock against the quality of the gameplay. They were all
no, I know, but
or the ideas that spun out of this. It's just kind of like I literally remember when Dream Team came out. Went, oh, so they moved from Bowser's stomach to Luigi's head. Okay, like it just kind of followed the same path, I guess, or the same beats. But I think the real sign that something was up was when they started only doing remakes on a system that was slowly dying. And I know Nintendo's the one that put them up to it, but if you look at like the trajectory of Alpha Dream as a company and compare it to, let's say, their Zelda counterparts, Grizzo, they literally went in opposite directions. It's kind of weird. Like look at Grizzo. They made really basic stuff to begin with. They did Four Swords on 3DS, the port. They did Ocarina and Majora's Mask for 3DS. But soon enough, they got to flex their creativity a bit. They got to do Everywhere Oasis.
A lot of pressure, though, to give them, like, Ocarina of Time, blah, blah, blah.
Well, yeah. No, but my point is they started with the ports, and then they moved into bigger things like Ever Oasis. And then they were given the keys to the Link's Awakening kingdom and told, hey, go wild with this, like, HD, do your thing. And they did, and they delivered. Meanwhile, as they're going up like that, Alpha Dream's going from having, like, top-tier RPGs to smaller and smaller remakes that are barely old enough to be remade in the first place. And I don't know, I think like a huge vote of confidence from Nintendo that could have helped Alpha Dream would have been if they're like, hey, port Mario and Luigi to Switch in HD, do a remake. And now I'm kind of like, well, if they didn't, it's no one's fault. None of the developers, I'm not trying to knock them, but maybe Alpha Dream just wasn't equipped to make the jump to HD. Maybe they're too small of a team, and that's why they kept reusing the same engine over and over and over, because it was like they could pump that out, no problem. But if they try and do something much bigger, they maybe just don't have their corporate structure didn't allow for it. I don't know. Like they made a very fun set of RPGs with really creative ideas, and then they, demonstrated they have good comedy chops. I mean, Fawful in the original Mario and Luigi, he's a great character. I actually can't believe they never did anything with him in the Mario universe as a whole. Like he seemed like he'd be ripe for Mario Kart or tennis or anything, and they just kind of let him fall to the wayside. But, and the premise of Bowser's Inside Story is really clever. Like, it's all,
I mean, they brought back Fawful for that. That was great.
They did, but why is Fawful not on the rest of the Mario games? Anyway, it's good stuff. I hope all developers land on their feet, maybe within Nintendo, but part of I just get this feeling that smallish team at Alpha Dream was just, like, ganging over their heads with how gaming was just blowing up. Well,
they filed for bankruptcy. It doesn't necessarily mean that.
They shut down their website. They're pretty much done. Apparently, they're finishing up contract work with
Let's
Nintendo.
forget I ever said that.
No, sorry. No, I should have mentioned up top they already shut down their website.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because the news broke like 2 days apart. So it's like they filed for bankruptcy, and I was like, oh, maybe they'll be okay. And it's like, oh, their website's gone. Well, so it's just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I didn't mean like, I'm not trying to say they're bad at what they do or anything. It's just kind of more like I think they were a product of a different time, and it was hard for them to adapt.
They were given a raw deal.
They were. Yeah, they were. But that's not to say their games weren't great. Like, I think... What was your favorite Mario and Luigi? I
only ever played Superstar Saga. I loved it.
Good, though, right?
Yeah, Superstar Saga is a great game.
And Angel, you were saying yours was Bowser Inside Story?
Definitely, like, really close behind Partners in Time. I really love Partners in Time.
Partners in Time is good. I feel like Partners in Time...
24 characters was just really cool. And just seeing Bowser interact with Bowser was also
great. Right. I was gonna say, I feel like Partners in Time, in general, is the one that, like, people seem to gravitate towards the original or the third, from what I've noticed. But yeah, no, Partners in Time is my favorite, too. It just felt like the right game at the right moment, because it was like, one of the first games on the DS, a proper DS sequel. Everything was literally doubled the characters, double the screens, double the face buttons to do double the attack inputs. Like, it all just, like, it clicked really well, and... Yeah, it's literally the one game where adult Mario and adult Luigi and baby Mario and baby Luigi all coexist in a way that actually makes sense. Every other game, Nintendo just hand waves it away. It's like, that's Mario Kart, why do you care? But this one, they actually explained it. So, yeah, I think Partners in Time for me is probably my favorite of the bunch. But, yeah, I kind of wish they... What? Yeah, right, I just kind of wish they, didn't get stuck making remakes that sold less and less on a system that nobody cared about. But I guess it's weirdly fitting, because now we're going from a developer who died with the 3DS to the system that's replacing the 3DS, the Switch Lite. So, kind of transitioning from news to what we've been playing. You have Shantae, Angel, but I played the Switch Lite. And it's nice. It's thanks. It was a great experience. It's cool. I mean, to back this up, I did not buy a Switch Lite.
I was gonna ask, so you bought 4 of them?
No. So yeah, what?
Because if Nintendo says jump, you always say how high. So,
but not times 4. They're not gonna be like jump 2 feet. I'm like, I'll give you 8. Like no. But I would give them 6. But, I didn't buy it. I just got to spend a good amount of time playing it at Best Buy, the demo unit there. Like, probably longer than I should have. Like, the employees started circling and kind of be like, so you going to leave? Like, I was playing for, 25 minutes, probably. But it's actually very nice. It's like a...
Jesus.
It's a spit... Cause
I don't even spend 25 minutes in that.
They have, 3 different...
Just in general.
Yeah, they have 3 or 4 different demos on there. So I was trying, Mario Kart and Mario U and just comparing, how the D-pad feels and how it looks, and... It's a spiffy little system. If you look at it as its own independent thing, it's a really well-made device. The thing, it's incredibly sturdy compared to a normal Switch, since, the controllers don't come off. It has this kind of nice, more grippy matte finish than a regular Switch would have. Thingly enough, given the system's purpose, it reminds me a lot of the 2DS in terms of, the solidness and just the general feel of the plastic.
I did not realize how tiny this thing was.
It's tiny. It's so tiny. Yeah, it's noticeably lighter and smaller than I expected.
I was always... I think I said this on a previous podcast, but I was entertaining the fact of, maybe I'll buy one. It'll be my to-go-to.
Tiny.
And then, I'll just keep my regular Switch at home.
Yeah, it's...
No, I already cramp up hard enough, playing my Switch.
So that's an issue I had. Well, actually, before I even get to the issue I had, I do want to point out that it looks very nice, the system. When you're holding it in your hands, ignoring the sides, it's super nice and clean. I got to try the yellow one. I'm on Team Turquoise. That was my Game Boy Color color, so I feel like I have to do it here. But I really can't knock that yellow. It looks really nice in person. And there's always nice little design touches, they have black accents under the control sticks, which is kind of a cool touch. The D-pad feels nice when I tried it out with Mario U. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it's much better at least than when I did the 4 face buttons when playing Mario World on the Super Nintendo app. That was it's like night and day. But yeah, really the biggie is it's almost too small. I'd say on the good side, it makes for a very crisp screen. Even though it's the same resolution, Mario Kart 8 looked really sharp and vibrant because it's just pressed down and the pixels are compressed. But on the flip side, yeah, you can feel the smallness when playing. To your hand cramp point, I sort of ran into the same issue with this because, part of it might be that the regular Switch has spoiled me. Obviously, I'm just fine with things like the 3DS, and I love the Game Boy Micro, and those are small. But everything here almost felt too small, kind of. The face buttons are these little beady things that almost feel really... they're hard-edged. They feel almost crisp when you touch them. You can feel the rim on them, which I assume is they're so small that they're putting that texture there so you know where the edge of the button is.
Right.
But it's just kind of this weird sharpness to them, if that makes sense. And then the control sticks are a bit smaller too. But what really messed with me is my muscle memory kept trying to hold it like a normal Switch, which obviously doesn't work because, again, this thing is really small. So between that and Best Buy security rope they put on the back of it, I couldn't really find a comfortable position where I could hold it in my hands and have my hands resting on or around every button for access like I could with a normal Switch. I had to do basically a variant of your claw, Kevin, to play. And it was not comfortable, and I could not reach all the buttons. And again, I think part of this is the security device on the back and that little tether, but a lot of it was also just it's small. And if you're my weird size issue aside, please don't quote that back to me that I said my weird size issue aside. But that aside, what playing with the Switch Lite confirmed to me is that I do not need one at all. Unlike a DS Lite or a 3DS or a new DS, this is not an upgrade, this is not an improvement, it's a sidestep. It's missing key features, obviously. You can't switch it. There's no switching. And it's very clearly a sidestep design for a different audience, or maybe a subset of Switch owners who really like portable play, like what you could have been, Kevin. And you know what? For that, it's great. Like, there are going to be people who love this thing. It's the right size, the right feel. It's well built. It's well made. The screen looks great. It's just nothing more than that. Right. And for that reason, I almost feel like they need to bring the price down a little. Like, $200 isn't bad, but it turns out that Nintendo themselves also kind of wants the price to be lower. I was seeing this article where I can't remember who it was. I think it was Gamasutra had a summary of a Wall Street Journal report, but basically Nintendo was hoping to get this thing under 200 to the point that they went out and found new battery suppliers. They did month-long back and forth with their current suppliers over individual tiny parts just to get this thing as cheap as possible, because they realized, like, if we want this thing to be mass appeal, we need to go big.
Or go home.
And the thing is, they really need to take that in consideration. Well, they are taking it in consideration, but the reason I think they're really thinking about it, or why I think they should go cheaper, is they're not stopping with making games that won't fully work without detachable Joy-Cons. In the time since the Switch Lite came out, it's been 3 weeks. In that time, both Ring Fit Adventure and Brain Age were announced. Both of them do not fully support the Switch Lite. You need a Joy-Con, separate detached Joy-Con to use either of them, which you could buy and sync up, but that's an added cost. So, like, if Nintendo,
which two again?
Ring Fit and Brain Age both won't work with the Switch Lite as is because they need detachable Joy-Cons.
Wouldn't that be the same thing with Super Mario Party?
Yeah, but my point is, it's been 3 weeks since the Switch Lite came out, and in those 3 weeks, Nintendo's still announcing stuff that the Switch Lite can't even run properly. So, like, if they want to sell it for $200, I feel like you maybe don't want to announce the game. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a weird. I think if they hit like 170, that'd be the sweet spot, or 150, or 160, somewhere in that range.
100.
$20. I would buy one for $20. I would buy one of each color for $20.
You would?
Yeah.
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 Huh.
Yeah. But no, it's just like that's sort of the weird thing with it is like it is really nice, but it's also kind of like I just as I was playing, I was like, yeah, but the real Switch does so much more and just is more comfortable. So, but it's a very nice system if you're only looking to get that and that alone. Just be aware that you're missing out on stuff. I should say, I can't attest to, there are longer term issues going on and flukes and bugs and stuff apparently. Obviously this is a vocal minority in situations like this, but apparently Joy-Con drift somehow exists in the Switch Lite, which I don't understand because they rebuilt the controls inside the unit. Like how, I thought we were past this. I thought they already were putting the foam in the Joy-Cons when you send them in, but here we are. And, more perplexing, perhaps, some people are reporting the D-pad does not reliably do corners. So if you do a diagonal move, you have to, like, slam it down to really do it. I did not experience either of these things in my only 25 minutes, but I feel like, you know, after saying it's great if you want something like this, those are issues going on, so just be mindful. I assume Nintendo's slowly going to fix them, but I don't know, between this and Joy-Con drift, it's very on Nintendo to have these issues in the first place. They're usually known for very reliable, sturdy, ready for anything hardware. But with the Switch, they've been on shakier grounds. Like, you could chuck a DS in, like, wherever and it would still work. The Game Boy, that Game Boy from the Iraq War that still runs is sitting in Nintendo World, like, or Nintendo New York. They are known for good stuff, and it just seems like with the Switch, they've kind of let stuff slide.
I dropped my NES because I accidentally stepped on the cord for Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
Broke my NES.
Huh. Well, I
cried like a baby.
How old were you at the time?
I was probably 3 years old.
I was kind of happy to say it was last week.
And I tripped over the cable. Man, I was heartbroken. So was my dad. My dad spent a lot of money on that thing.
Yeah.
How much for NES?
That was also like 24
was it the action set or whatever that came with Rob? Probably. I think it was like
300.
No, it was either 1 something or 100.
Yeah, in like $97. So
with inflation,
in 87
what would that be today?
The NES was in the 80s.
No, yeah, I wasn't born in the 80s.
Right.
My dad got me an NES.
Oh, in
like
the 90s.
3 years. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I just pieced that together.
Yeah, we were 5 when the Super Nintendo came out, which would make him 4. So
yeah, that makes sense.
That would make me 3. That would make me 2.
Oh wait, whoa! You'd make you 1.
Blast off.
I didn't realize. I thought you were younger than us, but you're 4 years younger. Yeah, because I remember I was 5 when I got my Super Nintendo. Wait, no. I got my Super Nintendo when Donkey Kong Country came out. Because I got the bundle with the DK nice art and everything. Which means I got it, I'm assuming, pretty late. Because, I mean, by then, Mario World was out way before that.
You got what came out in... Oh, your internet's not working. Guess we will never know.
Well, it's working for me.
Oh, there it goes. It lagged for some reason. Maybe it's my computer's not working. I was going to be all slick and be like, you got
when
it.
Did the
so 1994 is when the game came out. I imagine the bundle is either 94 or 95.
That makes sense, because Elvis was 1 year old. So
and you were 5, right? So that'd be 94. Yeah, there you go. Right. Anyway.
I remember having to share that console with him as a 1 year old.
I never had to do that because I have no siblings.
I had to watch as he would just have Donkey Kong walk off a ledge without jumping or anything.
How'd you control your rage?
Storming off, throwing tantrums, that kind of stuff.
You threw tantrums over Donkey Kong?
I don't know, I was little.
What a true Nintendo fan.
I had to share my console with the kid that was like, he's just going to kill my monkey and my Donkey Kongs and everything. But...
Gorillas.
Yeah.
But, okay.
I'm
correcting a 4-year-old, yes.
I like to play as Diddy, so...
Oh, the monkey, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know what's going on with the Switch Lite's long-term hardware prospects, but it's nice for 25 minutes, I'll tell you that.
They refer to him as a chimp, but he has a tail. So he shouldn't have a tail.
Yeah. Also,
he's probably more of a spider monkey if anything. But...
He also has an evil crocodile that wears a crown coming after him, and he has some sort of eye problem. The crocodile, and his older relative is a gorilla, even though they're related, and he wears a tie. So I wouldn't take too much of this as
but gospel. Everything you just said wasn't really anything that's just
scientifically wrong, except that Diddy and DK are somehow related.
No, they never really say they're related.
That's true. They're just buddies.
Yeah, they say they're buddies. Right.
All right, fine. Here's one.
My thing is
Candy Kong is not anatomically correct.
No, she's not.
My thing is just if you make an anthropomorphic dog character, then it doesn't matter what you do. Like if you say he's a German Shepherd, sure, you make him look like a German Shepherd.
Yeah, your concern is they said he's one, but man,
they're saying he's a chimpanzee, but he's not a chimpanzee.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, King K. Rool could look how he looks. I don't know if he's more if they prefer the crocodile or an alligator, but whatever.
You want to know another weird thing?
Semantics.
Speaking of not semantics, but another weird thing around this is totally I'm pretending you didn't even say that for some reason. Switch Lite. There's one other weird thing I wanted to bring up.
Oh boy.
So
here we go.
It's a weird the Switch Lite has a lot of weird narratives around it. Honestly, so the other thing that came out besides the stuff not working for some people is its sales numbers or. So,
oh God!
No! It's not the actual. No, it's not the actual sales numbers. Here's what's crazy. There's an analyst I follow on Twitter.
That's not what I was worried about.
There's an analyst I follow on Twitter named Sirkin Toto, I think, and he noticed that these various firms like Citi were essentially overinflating their expectations of the Switch Lite's launch in order to drop Nintendo's stock and buy it for cheap. So
those mother.
Right? So, no, but it's just funny because, there's always stories about how the Switch Lite did not do well in Japan, but it did fine. What happened is Citi found that the numbers were soft because it only sold 114,000 versus their projection of 300,000. And the thing is, 300,000 is what the Switch in its original form on launch week sold. Why would an iterative version that Citi themselves says is for a casual audience that will buy it more over time, including during the holidays, going to outsell the one that took a week? That was the big hyped one. And then Bloomberg ran with it and put in their little stock investor console, Switch sales or Switch Lite sales are soft, and Nintendo stock went down to the lowest point it's been in 4 months over this. And then someone snatched up the shares, and then of course the correction came out and it went back up. So, Nintendo's not immune to stock manipulation.
Nintendo's a publicly traded company?
In Japan, yep.
Oh, in Japan.
Or, well, no, I guess here, too. It's,
NT, it ends in a Y.
It's NDOY, I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But, yeah, I just thought that was kind of a bizarro thing that was happening around the Switch Lite. Because, it does change an era. Media sites were like, the Switch Lite's a disappointment. It's like, nah, Citi just made up a number and then couldn't back it. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The whole it's hard to control thing, though, is a nice dovetail into our next topic, which is the warm-up debate. Before we get to our big Mario debate, we got to have a warm-up debate. This was an Angel.
So I finally got around to playing Shantae and...
I'm sorry. I almost forgot about that. Yes, Shantae. Sorry.
So this game came out 4 years ago, and around that time I was definitely on a pretty big Shantae hype train, because I had replayed Risky's Revenge, was really great, 100%ed it, then I played...
I love how I just launched right in.
Why not?
Yeah.
And, this one, after having played it, and also, I don't know, this one actually wasn't a hassle to 100%. Usually, it's I'll beat the game and then let's go back and do it, but this one, the game, or I guess the way the world was designed, made it easy to do both simultaneously, like in one go. Like, there is a ton of backtracking, but that's kind of what Shantaes are all about. They're pretty much like...
They're Metroidvanias.
Yeah, they're Metroidvanias, but I don't know. It always annoys me that... I mean, this is something that the series does that I just kind of put up with. And...
Whoops, that was premature. that was supposed to happen so early.
But
we won't tell anyone.
That obviously came through the audio, so
like
I'm curious what that was.
You'll know. Okay. Don't tell them.
But anyway,
what do you say?
So stop interrupting. Yeah, something that just like kind of annoys me that games tend to do in general. To me, it just feels like filler. A lot of the reasons they have you backtrack is like you have a character that's just like, oh, he won't move because I'm missing this, and then you have to go look for that thing, but then you find this other person that's looking for this other thing, and then you eventually find this other unrelated thing, you show it to this other person, and that person gives you an item that you get to the other person, then you give that other person an item that you get to the other person. That's pretty much all of Shantae.
Video games.
Yeah, and like those fetch quests like are okay when it's like one or two separated, but a lot of these feel like very redundant, like especially when the item is like one or two screens away, and it's like, why did I even have to do that? Like, this game also has like two instances of like these puzzles that I tend to just find also like not clever. They just feel like time wasters. It's like you have a bunch of buttons and you're pretty much just hitting them so that you could have like an elevator aligned. Like you could figure out, I guess, like which button does what for the elevator, but I'm pretty sure I've ended up solving it faster than I would have if I actually tried to solve it the right way. Just like by randomly like hitting the button, just like, okay, this one resets it. Okay, I guess I won't hit this one. But I mean, besides that, like, it's really nice seeing sprite work. I feel like I definitely prefer Shantae in the sprite mode than I do in the new Flash animated mode.
This one's sprites with animated cutscenes, right?
No, there's no.
Shantae 5's one with the animated cutscenes.
Yeah,
right.
This is not starting 5. With Half Genie Hero, they started going all like traditionally drawn,
right?
Which like is great on paper. Oh, literally, but
I see what you did there.
But they do, but they do,
pretty good.
That's very
but
good.
they do a combination of like hand drawn and Flash, so it's not like full on Cuphead. It's like we'll draw a few frames and then just like slide them around to get the in betweens. And I mean, it gets the job done, but it's never gonna look as appealing as fully traditional animation or pixel animation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, it just looks more fluid, and for some reason, somehow the characters I feel like they have more character in this than they do in the later ones, but I don't know. I think it's just like you're working with the limitations, so it just
right.
I don't know. They end up coming out more appealing. And I mean, that's the last thing I want to bring up was I just thought it was interesting coming in that this game starts with Shantae not having any powers whatsoever, so there's no dancing, there's no transformation, there's no anything.
Yep.
You're just using pirate gear, so you have a gun, you have a hat that lets you hover, you pretty much have like this cannon that you can shoot downward for like upward mobility. Like I don't know, it ended up being super fun to control her that way, and so much more streamlined because you don't ever have to stop to dance.
Right.
That it kind of made me go like, oh man, I think I kind of prefer this over the dancing, even though that's kind of what Shantae built
around.
Built around. But I mean, I did play Half Genie Hero. I mean, after having played some of these sprite ones, and I mean, there are some abilities there that let you speed up the dancing, but nothing really beats just instant, action. So, yeah, it's a really fun game. I'm glad I revisited it, mainly just because the 3DS, I finally found it and I charged it. And I'm like, oh, what games do I have on?
That's how you're able to so quickly get Pokédex 3D out earlier. I was like, you don't have your 3DS at the ready, but now I get why.
Yeah, so I was finishing up. Well, I finished that game and I'm like just about done with Donkey Kong Country 2 again for like the 8th time.
That's what I was hearing. When it was on the Discord with Elvis.
Oh yeah.
I was like, is your brother playing Donkey Kong? And then we were talking about, is that 2 or 3? That's definitely not 1.
You might have heard.
He doesn't like 3.
You might have heard the monkeys singing at some point with the levels.
Speaking of which, did you see that blog for Link's Awakening with the sound director? Who apparently at one point, one of the versions of the toy music they did for the new Link's Awakening was a choir of little like Munchkin people singing the Zelda theme. There's an MP3 of this on the internet. It's on the official Zelda website. It is
on the internet.
Something to behold. It is. I kind of want to find it actually, but it's magical. Yeah, not necessarily for the right reason, but let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, so that's Shantae. Another good entry in the series. looking. Wait, is the fifth one out on Switch yet? I know it's out on Apple Arcade.
It's on Apple Arcade. It is not yet on Switch.
Yeah, I'm just
I think they money hatted it, as the term goes, or they probably help with the development costs. But
I see.
Yeah, but it. Here we go. So the music composer. It's loading, but the music composer. Let me get the sound on here. We don't often do music, so this is a special treat. You guys ready for this? Are you guys ready for this?
Yes, we're ready.
Here we go. Is this the right one?
Is this what they were going to use in the game?
Yes, this was one idea they had.
I'm glad they didn't.
It reminds me of Yoshi's Story, actually.
Yeah, it's very
I mean, it kind of fits the aesthetic.
I don't want you to put it louder. Like,
oh, I do.
This is like when you had the Toad
like that part's
singing.
fine. Yeah, I can't. No,
like,
I would.
Oh, don't make me start playing this on the podcast. Have we ever played that on the podcast?
I want to say you did, because I don't see how you wouldn't.
Oh, I mean, I've got to pull it up right now. This podcast is off the rails if I'm really pulling this up right now. Lucky for you, I don't think I can find it.
Oh, no.
Darn. We're just got to move on to our debate of the warm-up debate. That Angel had the idea of we should talk about which control... Aha. We have so many sound effects. That's what went early. Yeah.
By accident, as I was trying to open my phone.
But yeah, Angel had the idea of before we get to the main debate, we need to have a warm-up, and what better thing to warm up than when the hot button issue of what is the best controller in gaming.
I don't think we need to warm up anymore, since we already did a few...
You want to just skip right over it? Because now I brought it up. Now we have to talk about it. Maybe we don't call it a warm-up, but we have to. Right. We have to bring it up. So I don't know who wants to go first here, but someone should.
I'll go first. The reason why Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is... No, I'm kidding. But Chow Garden. That's all I'm going to say. I would drop the mic, but that'd be bad for the audio,
So, you know what we'll do instead? I found it. It's Toad singing One Up... Jump Up Superstar, I mean.
Oh, that's so terrible.
It's the best thing ever. Larry just wasting people's time right now. It's great.
Wow.
That
doesn't even sound like Toad. It sounds like if Toad smoked 20 packs of cigarettes.
That's what Toad sounds like. That's what Toad sounds like now. Well, he's the Line Toad mascot from
Line.
Yeah, from Line. You know how like Nintendo, I don't know if you know, in Japan Nintendo has the official Line account hosted by this Toad, and they put him in different situations like singing the song or dressing up as other characters. And anyway, so controllers. How about them controllers? Who wants to go first? Angel, it's your thing. You go first.
Are we strictly
any controller? What is the best controller in video games?
Oh man, I guess this one off the top of my head. I guess
top of your head. We talked about this like 3 days ago. You had thoughts at the time.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. For me, somewhere between like the Controller Pro and the DualShock 4. I just really like both of those. Like immediately super comfy. I mean, I have a bunch of features, but I don't know. Mainly just comfort. Like I've never had literally any issues with either of them. Like they're like adaptability. Oh no, I mean really easy to adapt to. I don't know. It's just really like both of those controllers, just how they feel in the hand. I mean that's the most important part, right?
Depends on how you define best. We didn't specify. Because I'm gonna get so much crap for this. I would say the Wii Remote Nunchuck. Here's why. It does all the things a normal controller does. It lets you lounge your hands. What?
You just unplug his mic. Then.
Yeah, no. It's now. I should back up. So it does all things.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
But it does them good enough, in the sense of like I was fine playing.
Good enough is your best.
No.
Your best controller.
No.
Good enough.
No, here's my point.
It's acceptable.
Yeah.
Everything.
No. Here's my point.
Okay.
It did frankly, when we moved away from the Wii, I was happy to be back with the controller I could hold between like the Switch. I was like, oh, cool, I can hold two Joy-Cons in a holder. That's great. But I liked what the Wiimote did and Nunchuck because it allowed for all sorts of different things to happen along with the standard stuff? Was it necessarily the absolute pinnacle of experiencing anyone?
Yeah, but does that make it the best?
Yeah, does that objectively make it the best controller?
I say it makes it the best because it allowed for the most types of experiences to be had.
Yeah, and then some of those experiences were broken. Skyward Sword.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of horrible experiences that came out.
But that's just not using the controller well, or trying to build things that it can't be.
It is responsible for...
It's responsible for like 90% of shovelware on that system.
That's true.
That's true.
It did create a whole new... Yeah, it was like... Not just... I mean, shovelware...
But think about like how satisfying it was to play
created
like,
a market that made E.T. on the Atari 2600 jealous.
Listen, again, he turned into a ghoul. He turned into such a weird ghoul over there. No, I just say, again, like... every controller can do a good or a bad thing. What I'm saying is it allowed for... It had more versatility and more options and more things you could do with it than any other controller while still being able to do the things they do. Like, Metroid Prime 3 was great with it. Like, Mario Galaxy, all it did was waggle, and it was fine. It felt fine to play that game. There was no, like, weird, like, I'd rather have a DualShock or I'd rather have a Pro controller. Like, it did everything and more. And I'm not necessarily saying it was the most comfortable, but it allowed for the most types of game experiences. And at the end of the day, that's what controllers are supposed to do, is let you control things. So more options, more ways to control things.
This is where, like, deciding a best gets, like, really...
Yeah.
Very sick, because then...
This was your topic.
No, I know. But I mean, and I'm sure, like, this may come out, like, in the Mario world. Like, it just comes up how you define it. Like, what do you define as, like, the best? Like, oh, is it the cultural impact? Then, oh, okay, obviously it's going to be this. Or do you look at it in... like a smaller vacuum, like you just look at the game as it is, as you're playing it.
No, the controller. We're not at Mario World. Hold that talking point. Hold that talking point.
You just hold the controller in your hand. You're like, all right, am I enjoying this controller? Is it fun to play with? Is it giving me like cramps after a while? Like
the Wiimote never did, because you could hold your arms like as far apart as humanly possible until the nunchuck
if the game allows. Some games made you use just the Wiimote by itself sideways, and plenty of my friends in college had plenty of issues like playing with that controller sideways. Like some of them couldn't even like do it for like more than a couple of like.
Right. So like, I hear you. I'll admit maybe I picked wrong.
I mean, like I will say like that is a great, like, no one can deny like the impact it had and the contribution it made to gaming in general. Yeah. But I feel like that doesn't necessarily make it the best controller, but that's also like I guess what I would say. And I feel like Kevin was also in agreement that doesn't mean make it
that's
the
fine. I concede that maybe Wii is not the answer, and I will go GameCube. And you know how I know GameCube's a good one? Because they still use it today. They do in Smash. Some people.
Yeah, that controller just like they couldn't figure out anything better. So it's the only controller that hasn't been iterated that is still going. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Which actually says a lot, because that means it just works.
Yeah, but I remember when they first kind of say the same thing about the DualShock.
Oh, it has a touchpad now.
No, I know, but like I mean, the shape has pretty much stayed almost exactly the same. They've pretty much just added things that came out of necessity. I mean, like the first PS1 controller predated the GameCube, and I mean, they never felt the reason to change. They just added the two analog sticks. Then they pretty much just added the
very
touchpad,
first...
and that's pretty much it. Yeah, the first one didn't have any of that.
Yeah, but that wasn't a DualShock, I guess. That was just a shock? Single shock? Solo shock?
I don't think it had an official name. I think it was
just... First it was I mean, the shape, it pretty much did exactly the same. Yeah. It was only from PS3 to PS4 that it actually have some more changes, like, aesthetically.
You know what does wrong, though?
And it even has, like, the bumpers from, I mean, the GameCube. I don't know. It's
you know what does wrong? It's sure like it
has a lot of stuff.
If it ain't broke, don't like why fix it.
Yeah,
I can't say
the most symmetrical sticks is what you're gonna say.
No, the problem it has. Well, that too. The one I was gonna bring up is they call the X button the cross button, like fools. Oh, it's the X button.
Yeah, but like the dude,
it makes sense in the context.
But the dude that created GIFs, heart G, he said that it was GIF. No one calls it GIF.
I know.
No one calls it GIF.
You know what's funny?
That is a non-issue.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying it doesn't help. But yeah, no, the symmetrical sticks. I like the asymmetrical.
What I find interesting, like for as many years,
just put it like on its side. You just put it like this. Like,
for as many years that like I've always like like big Nintendo fans, blah blah, had Nintendo controllers. The PlayStation controller was the only one I never got confused with. The button location, like it always was clear to me. Okay, X is always like accept, circle is back.
I think you mean cross.
Whatever. So
just unplug his mic. I told you.
So like, but whenever I play on the Xbox, like even when I was playing Banjo, it always throws me out. Like I always keep wanting to press like A for back, but it is where the B is, and like for whatever reason, like when I hold the PlayStation controller, like it instantly like
muscle memory.
I mean, circles and crosses are like universally like like this symbols just work.
Yeah.
I guess actually, well, Xbox just kind of messes it up by making it left.
Yeah, Microsoft just had to be different.
Yeah, I mean, Sony ended up being really different, but I mean,
it's interesting because Microsoft
Microsoft had to use what other controls were already.
Microsoft mirrored the button placement of circle and X.
It did, but for some reason it throws me off.
It did the A and B of Nintendo, so you're stuck with this weird other thing that's a half and half that just feels wrong.
I know, and switching between like these 3 consoles like in the last month is definitely
you're borrowing the Xbox One right now, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that debate sort of.
Wait, did you have one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't want to be part of this conversation, anyways.
Well, it got quiet, so I thought it was over. I thought you were siding with him on DualShock for some reason.
No. As much as I'm
the Dreamcast.
I'm primarily a PlayStation. Well,
the VMU of the Dreamcast.
Like the console-wise, I was primarily a PlayStation.
Trick question. The 3DS, because it is also a controller.
I would argue that the Switch Pro controller is probably the best controller.
It is comfy.
I think that's mainly the reason, the comfort factor. Probably.
I mean, that's first and foremost. I would say, like for a controller, like is it comfy?
Guys, you can't lounge with a Pro controller like you can lounge with a Wiimote and Nunchuck. You can sprawl.
It won't be as comfy, but you can. People have been doing it for decades. Maybe you just don't know how.
Wiimotes also take batteries. Like I feel like a peasant whenever I have to switch.
I had rechargeable batteries in mine, so
you still have to take out batteries and put some brand new ones.
This is true, and my rechargeables exploded at one point.
So,
but you're right.
But guys, for a year though, they were great. Anyway, continue.
Also, like how the Wiimote fixed itself by giving you the classic controller pro. Like, oh, you tired of using this thing? Just use a normal controller.
Again, it's the definition of best. I admit I might have gone out on a limb with that one. And I came back around to GameCube.
Switch Pro controller also uses USB-C. Thank
This
God that they didn't go mini or micro, whatever it's called. I'm so done with that cable. I am done. You hear me? Sony just announced that the DualShock 5 is going to be USB-C, and I could not thank God enough.
I thought you were going to say it's still going to be micro.
You know what's funny about that?
I would have lost it if they said that it was still micro.
You know what's funny about the whole PlayStation 5 unveil?
I would not have bought a PlayStation 5 if they went micro again. I am done with that cable. I am done. You hear me?
Who's supposed to be responding to you hear me?
I don't know. But...
I was going to say that,
I guess current...
You know what's insane about the PlayStation 5 unveil? Not insane, but I thought it was kind of funny. So they open it, and the new guy in charge of Sony's video game division, I forgot his name.
Jim Ryan? No,
Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan's
not the
been
dude
there.
with the big head?
Jim Ryan's been there
Sean
forever.
Layden, he's gone. Jim Ryan. Yeah, he was like, oh, it's so nice to lift this burden off my shoulders of telling you it's called the PlayStation 5. And I'm like, what else would it be called? Like, no one's thinking it's not called the PlayStation 5.
Are you sure that wasn't a joke?
There's always...
maybe.
But there's always rumors that the next PlayStation will just be called the PlayStation, the same way that...
Xbox will be Xbox.
The Xbox, yeah, but I doubt that the next Xbox is
the most they would do is stylize it as PSV instead of PS5. Just because the V for Roman numerals. No, but even then they wouldn't do it because it's Vita.
Yeah, Vita.
They should have just called it another word for...
Rest in peace, Vita.
I wish they just named the new PlayStation some other word that means life in a different language.
Revolution, just take the Nintendo.
Yeah, they take everything else, am I right? But, anyway.
I'm just kidding.
Anyways, the Pro Controller for the Switch definitely tied for the Xbox 360 controller. I thought that Microsoft did a huge step backwards with the Xbox One controller. I do not like that controller.
Really?
I do not like the concave.
What's different about it?
The sticks are concave.
The sticks are
not great.
Are different, like concave.
Convex?
Like this one is just like straight down.
Oh.
The other ones were more rounded. I love that was like super.
They assume your thumb is like a triangle or something.
Yeah.
Like your fingerprint, your pad on your thumb, which it's not.
The R1, L1, which are bumpers, whatever. I hate how Microsoft. I hate Microsoft's terminology for their controllers. It's so dumb. But the ones on the Xbox One, just on the Xbox One controllers are too big. I forgot
the One X was a thing.
They're just too big. Yeah, I just thought they took a major step backwards. The Xbox 360 controller, I think
it also just looks really nice. It looks so like smooth and shaped well, and
really comfortable.
Coming from the first one,
it's
too?
like
what an evolution.
It's like
what a revolution.
It connects to a computer really easily. Like DualShocks are a mission sometimes to connect to a PC. Just a
Didn't
mission.
they just make an update to make it easier?
And they took away Facebook for now.
Because I want to say Apple's like the newest update. Like
iOS 13 supports DualShocks and Xbox.
Yeah, that's right. That's the Mac and
to the point that you can go buy an Xbox controller at the Apple Store now. They're selling them, but not DualShocks.
Yeah,
only Xbox.
I wonder if they will sell DualShocks. That's besides getting to the point.
Yeah.
The only thing that like drags down the Xbox 360 controller compared to like the Switch Pro controller is that it still uses micro USB. I am done. I am done with that. I'm over it.
Wait, the Xbox 360 also used batteries, didn't it?
It did. Remember when you were chewing me out about the Wiimote?
I remember. I remember you have to like take out the compartment on the back, but PS2 and 3 already had. No.
Kevin, you could have shared in a communal experience of batteries exploding in your controller.
No. Well, yeah, but like I only ever used like those controllers on like a computer, so I didn't need
do it often.
Yeah, to do it often.
Okay. Huh. We got a mic drop at least. That's pretty exciting.
I'm done with that. Okay, I'm done. Micro
we'll be
USB
sure to let the USB Alliance
mini USB.
know.
This thing uses mini USB.
And that's why you just threw it on the table.
I cannot find
a
single microphone to replace my old mic that uses USB-C. There's not a single microphone out there. You know how hard I looked? I didn't look that very hard.
I was gonna say it was like it was about 20 minutes.
But yeah, I am done with.
You looked less time than I spent with the Switch Lite in a random Best Buy. You need to spend more time in Best Buys. That's the takeaway.
I'm just done with these cables. I just want everything to be USB-C or Lightning. And guess what? Lightning's also apparently out of the door next year.
Pan out.
Supposedly.
USB-C.
I got like 5 Lightning cables that I just don't know what to do with now. I like Lightning. Lightning's fine. Goddamn micro USB, I'm done.
Yeah, so how about that Mario World? I don't know where we go from there. Except I hope the USB Alliance is listening and taking notes, because you don't want to lose him. If you lose him, you only have the other 7 billion people on Earth.
Opening statements, I guess.
Well, hold on. Let's set the stage here. So, it's been a point of contention. Oh, wait, I need to set the stage first.
No.
Actually, you are the ref. You set the stage.
In this corner, we have the sexiest Salato. Angel.
So
that's supposed to be like you're like, oh yeah, sexy.
In the other corner, we have Jason. Just Jason.
Yep, just me. Now, what are we actually debating? Because it's not like we didn't know what we were. I thought we were debating if it's the best Mario. I think like the all-time best, and you seem to be thinking it's the all-time best game ever. Which I'll say
that was my argument. I don't know what your argument was, but
I think mine was the best Mario.
Both, I guess.
Okay, then good. My points still work. Okay, Bell, please.
Oh, man.
Yeah, don't
hold on. Hold on.
Dead air.
I'll do the wrestling bell one.
So who goes first? How does this work?
I'll let you go first.
Well, what am I? Okay, so you know why it's the best Mario? Here's why it's the best Mario. It's in the name. The reason Mario World's the best Mario
or is it
World.
Super Mario the best?
No, it's in the name.
Already
you already lost me, and I'm on your side.
It's in the name. World. It is the one 2D Mario that feels the most like a fully realized, self-contained, open world you can explore. It's quite possibly...
You're already going down a bad route.
No.
I don't know where you're going
You'll
with this.
see.
And I'm the one that loves this game.
No, listen. It's the most expansive Mario game. And what's cool is because that it feels non-linear. There are more secret exits, triple exits, different ways to get around to stages, different paths to take to stages.
You are overselling this, man.
There's more...
Having just played it. I know you just
did
it too.
I did too.
There is more. And I'm telling you, you're
no, because like okay, so the closest you can get to it is Mario U, right? Like in terms of similarities, Mario U, Mario World, right? That you've admitted that on the show before. Like Mario U is the new version of Mario World in a way. Mario U has less secrets. Mario U, if you go do like a level jump, you know, like you like sort bypass worlds to go wherever, they shoot you in a cannon and you're done. In Mario World, you go to a whole nother world and you get these special stages in that world to get between the levels. Like there's like everything you do, there's just more to explore and there's different paths to take, and you can go beat the game in 5 minutes, or you can go through every single secret. You can
beat it in an hour.
No, that's not true.
Yeah,
you got every single level in an hour.
No, not me, but I've seen it done.
Sure, but that's true for any game. You could speedrun.
Yeah.
That's a weird counterpoint.
But
wait. And not
how much it hurts me to give it to this guy.
Oh. And not only that, but like, is a game's goodness judged by its completion time?
Oh no, definitely not.
So that's a weird. Anyway, my point is, there's like you can go and only do the main levels and go through the game and just have it be a linear Mario experience, or you could go find the other colored Yoshis. When I played through it again, forgot there were other colored Yoshis because I was just going through the main thing, and I actually went back. I was like, oh right, there's the yellow one, the blue one, and like they're only in these little like nips and like tucked away in little areas. You can go through the whole game without.
No, that's not. Hold on. Let's bring this back. Did you finish the game?
Yeah. I tweeted a screenshot of the end screen.
Yeah, it took them 2 days.
Okay.
Well, 2 days of
2 days of playing.
Okay,
yeah.
I just didn't know.
Oh yeah. I finished it before the debate. I went through the whole game. I did not do every single level. I did not do the special zone. But there's another example. How many Mario games have like not only the whole? I mean, I know they do the whole like there's a second thing, but like there's so many things to do, and then there's the Star Road, and then there's the special zone, and it's just like, and none of it has to happen in a specific order. None of it's just like a normal Mario. It's all the stuff, all the good stuff you get in Mario, but free of some of the linearity of those Mario games. You can actually kind of do your own thing, so it's a little more like open-ended, and the secrets are a little better, because some levels have multiple secret exits, not just one, like other Mario games. Basically, it's all the cool stuff with Mario, but with like more like a free-form take on it. That's my pitch. And no other Mario game has done it quite to that extent. Mario U came close. But
that's your opening statement? Or is that your entire debate?
That's just my thought on why it's the best Mario of the bunch.
That's the whole thing then?
No, that's just my thought on that.
Okay.
That was my, I guess, opener. I didn't know if this was a formal debate or not, but that's kind of
that's
my main pitch.
I've never actually done like.
I thought we were just gonna go back and forth and just talk about it, but yeah,
I took debate in community college. I was there for one day, and I said, "Not for me. I'm out."
That's why. Yeah, that's why I'm glad we didn't call this episode "The Great Debate" because it's not a formal debate. It's more of just like we're talking about. But that's kind of my main crux of it, is the reason Mario World's better than the other Marios, which are all very good, because it does what all the other Marios do as well, but then it kind of lets you go do your own thing within that structure in a way that other Marios do not. Like Mario 3, you have the warp whistle, you don't get special levels. Like Mario U, you just shoot to the new spot. You don't get special levels in between the spots. Like all this stuff is just like other ways to explore the world in ways that no other Mario's done.
I know. I agree with actually a lot that you said.
Wow.
Like it does have this like illusion of like freeformness.
Yeah.
So like, I mean you sure like, oh cool, I found a secret exit. Oh cool, now there's like another level over here. Like it's not everything you said like isn't as granted you're making it out to seem, because when you play the game, like it's, I don't know, I would say none of that matters if it's not as fun. And like sure,
why do you find it not as fun?
Because there's no like sense of growth or like, I wouldn't even say like accomplishment. Like the further you get into the game, like the levels, they're designed in such a way that I feel like anyone could beat it. It's like basically the most approachable.
Well, hold on. Why do you say that?
Have you? I mean, you.
Why?
Well, first of all, you're like
okay.
Fine.
Question number one:
Are
you saying that because you were using the Super Nintendo Absolute Rewind to undo your errors? Because that is a way you could do it and beat it no matter what. You know what I'm talking about? You could undo at any time. You just undo.
Yeah, and I rarely had to do that if at all.
Okay.
Like I did it a ton.
I did a decent amount.
But it was more because of like stupid errors in that.
Oh yeah. It's like I mistimed this jump.
No, yeah, like having played this one, and I played through most of Mario 3 like in anticipation for this. I played through a lot of. I beat Mario 1 in anticipation for this. I pretty much like touched almost every single Mario game before this debate. I even went back to Mario U and to Mario Wii and to Mario DS.
Okay.
Just like to actually see like, all right, like are these like are the levels like as fun as I remember them being? And Mario World just has like the most bland levels of all of them. Like the level designs are just so like simplistic. It literally feels like every level for the most part feels like some of the first couple levels you would get in an Intro to Mario Maker course. Like a lot of things are just kind of haphazardly put on there, and you're just kind of, I don't know, there's no real sense of like challenge, like or sense of progression. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Like the further I went to the game, the more I thought like, okay, cool. The levels are gonna get like way more complex or a lot crazier, and they never really did. They always just kind of had the sameness to them, and that really like kind of started to kind of bum me out a little. Like, whoa, wow, I thought even the variety, like there's very little variety in the levels. Like there's like,
I don't know about that one.
I
was with you on the first half.
You
lost me on the second.
I understood where you were going with that.
No,
like
and then you sort
No,
of
like, well, fine. I guess I'm kind of repeating. Like, there's like very little variety in like the gameplay elements. Like when you're in
all the Yoshis, if you choose to get them, have some variety.
But I could also say that about like the other Mario games. And
wait, what?
I mean, I could also say that about Mario U.
What are you saying? Is it good or bad? What you're saying?
I'm saying it's bad. Like this game, like the further you go along, like the levels like don't build on. I feel like from what I played, they don't build on anything you've previously learned. They just keep the same note, like from the beginning to the end, like the difficulty is the same, which could be fine for a lot of people. Like if you have a very approachable game and anyone could play it, that's great. But every other Mario game like has at least like the ones I really like, Mario 3, Mario Wii, Mario U, especially Mario 3, and even Mario 1. They do have like the slow ramp from like the levels start pretty easy and then they get harder and harder and harder.
I feel like that ramp is there in World.
It definitely wasn't.
A little.
Especially
the platform definitely gets more like
the levels
more.
I get maybe if anything like more difficult, but even then I still would say they don't, because I replayed a lot.
So let me ask you this: how much of it in your mind it can be rooted back to the fact that we're talking about a game where you have to go discover things? Like a game where it's more freeform. So basically you're taking the path of least resistance versus trying to get all the Yoshi coins, versus trying to go find the blue Yoshi, versus trying to get all the Switch palaces, versus all that. Like, are you just going through the rote thing? Because that's what's different about World versus U versus
but I mean, does that
3
make
versus
it
1.
better, though?
Well, it doesn't necessarily make it better or worse.
Then that's just your preference then. Like, you just prefer a game that I guess gives you all these, like, quote-unquote secrets. Like, a lot of the secret
No,
areas
you're what I'm saying. Hold on.
Or a lot of the things you discover aren't even, like, that exciting. Like, oh, here's a key. Oh, there's a keyhole. It's right there. And then, oh, what do you get? You get this. Well, you just get to loop around the tree again. That's great.
No, what? When does the key take you around the tree? The key gets you out of that loop. Anyway, no, what I'm saying is you're saying that the basic platform, the basic whatever is whatever. I'm saying I think the challenge is in completing the game fully.
Because there is no challenge in that.
In finding all the exits and checking out going whatever way or doing whatever thing, or
I mean, I feel like you're making them sound like harder to find than they really are, or I guess more elusive. I don't know. Like
they're not all right in your face.
I mean, they're not.
Actually, most aren't.
I mean, they're not right in your face, but like most of them, you'll even find them by accident. And then, if anything, like I would even assume that a few of them sometimes you might even have a hard time finding the actual like correct way to go. Like, I don't know. Just having these like exits, like.
So, what do you consider difficulty? I'm curious.
I don't know, like
hard platforming.
No,
like
it doesn't have to be hard. Like,
based.
There just has to be like a sense of like I'm actually like that the game is trying to push back a little bit.
Yeah, because theoretically, you not being able to find the real exit but finding the alternate exit, isn't that making it hard to properly beat the level? Isn't that exactly the game pushing back on you?
I mean,
by making you have to think.
Well, I mean,
in
we're just looking
ways.
at the game. Like you just have to.
Kevin's expression.
I like that.
Thank you. Right? Like, isn't that what is difficulty to you?
Yeah,
ultimately.
But that's just that's how Mario World chooses to, I guess
what
add
do
difficulty?
You choose to view difficulty as? Is what I'm asking. Because it sounds like we're saying there is that pushback.
I don't know.
I'm saying
taking skills that you develop as you're playing and just pushing those skills.
So how is faking out? How is making the
those
exit?
Are not skills. Like a lot of things. That
How is that not a skill?
Okay.
That's what I'm asking. Where are you?
Okay, I beat the level. Here's Mario World. All right, you go in a straight line. Okay, cool.
I'm loving this, by the way.
You go in a straight line.
I'm loving this too. This is riveting.
And
I hope those.
And this actually applies to like
not
a lot.
helping my case though.
And this kind of applies to a lot of the 2D Mario games, which like it doesn't make it as unique to Mario World because Mario World isn't as unique as you also make it out to be. Like for Mario World, like when you beat a level, sure, you can just go in a straight line. You play it again. All right, just take the up route. You're gonna run into something. Just take the lower route.
That's not always how it is.
It is.
My point.
It literally is. There's literally no other place they could stick secrets in. It's a 2D plane.
But so what is difficulty to you ultimately?
I literally just told you like
no, but yeah, because you're saying there's nowhere they can stick secrets except the place they stick.
No,
the
I'm
secrets.
saying like
I'm countering with okay. So is that not you learning how the game works and advancing your own knowledge as you go, which is your definition of ramping up the difficulty?
It's not the exact same thing every single time.
It's not the exact same thing. What about the one where it's beyond the exit, for example?
Oh, sometimes I guess there aren't secrets. I guess, but
no. What about the one like beyond the? No, what about the one like beyond the exit?
Yeah, but that's not.
That's not. Because it is still on the screen, it counts as one of the 3 planes in your mind. Like you're sort of drawing an arbitrary line of. That's why I'm asking what you consider difficulty. Like, what to you is the game pushing back? Because it apparently is not manipulating what you have previously learned in different ways, which is Nintendo's design MO, which is always they teach you a technique, and then they riff on the technique, and then sort of subvert your expectations by doing the technique differently and making you have to think differently about it.
Yeah, and I feel like Mario World doesn't really ever really achieve that.
But what are you looking for it to achieve that is what I'm asking. Because I think it does do that. If you're saying half the thing is finding the secrets, and the secrets are on one of 3 planes, and I'm like, okay, what about the times behind the exit? Isn't that literally subverting the expectation and make you have to think differently about the thing you learned to do, which is check the 3 planes? Is that not literally the game pushing back in whatever way it's doing it? Like, what are you looking for in difficulty? Are you looking for harder platforming? Are you looking for more enemies? Like, what... Because that is theoretically taking the structure presented to you and subverting it, which is what it's pushing back, if that's what difficulty is. But it might be in a way you don't find enjoyable, which is basically seeking out secrets versus something else. That's what I'm asking, what is it, the thing that you want? Because I'm cool with the finding secrets. What's your difficulty metric?
I don't know. Something in between. Something that at least increases the core gameplay for those that don't want to look for the secrets or aren't even trying to look for the secrets.
I guess what I'm saying is I think the core gameplay is that. So maybe you just don't like the core gameplay? Because I think the core gameplay is you get to do some Mario platforming, but then you're trying to find things within the platforming. Versus the platforming.
See, but this is why I feel like Super Mario Bros. 3 does that a lot better. Because Super Mario Bros. 3 literally, it has what I really love about the core platforming. Which I'm obviously
Which is what? You still haven't said it. What is the thing you love?
I did already. You weren't listening, I guess.
What was? Just repeat it then.
I just said I like it when... Pretty much what you had... Even you reiterated it. Like, they teach you some skills in the beginning, some platforming skills, or, just harder obstacles.
Right. So you want Mario World to have increased difficulty in the platforming, is basically what I'm getting at.
I mean, it is a platforming game, I guess, yes. But
okay. That's what I was trying to figure out.
But, I mean, that could incorporate... I mean, you could still have, interesting secrets to hide around the levels. I mean, Mario Bros. 3 still does that.
Well, let's.
It also has alternate paths, but
a little.
Yeah,
you see them all in advance before you go into the level. Like you have the whole map laid out in front of you ahead of time. It's just like, oh, there's that other path. Well, Mario World does kind of a cool thing, in my opinion, where it will just out of nowhere forge a new path. Like you'll be, oh, I can go through this water. Oh, I can go over to this tree went away. Like it's just oh, you're going left now just because you found this thing. While in Mario 3, it's sort of laid out like there is a thing you should look for here. So it's kind of more hand-holding the secrets, weirdly enough. Even though, in a way, the secret might be easier to find in World, it's more directly hinted at in 3.
That's true.
So I guess in my mind... Mario World is more of an explorative... Mario World is like Mario Odyssey in 2D, which perfectly explains why you don't like it, actually. Because Mario Odyssey is like they give you a playground and then they say, go find the things, and you go find the things, and you do platforming to get there. And Mario World is basically, you can go find the things and you can do the platforming to get there. And if you didn't like Odyssey because you thought it was too much of hunting down stuff, I could see why you wouldn't like World.
I have a problem with that because it is hunting down stuff. I didn't have a problem with World because it's hunting down stuff. I just had a problem with it just being consistently easy throughout without ever really making me feel like I actually learned anything as a player.
As a player looking for platform.
No, just someone looking for an experience. I mean, I went to this game as open as I could. I didn't go in going like, all right, I'm going to play this because I love my Super Meat Boy Celeste gameplay. I want this to be tough as nails platform. I was like, nope, I'm going to take my time, try to explore out each level and just see how much fun you can have. And at the end, just, how much fun you're having.
Because you want more platforming. That's what you're sort of saying.
Well, you want harder.
You want harder platforming. That's what the route I'm getting to here.
I mean, sure. If finding these secrets requires tougher platforming, but most of the time it just required me to. I mean, if you have the cape, and let me get into this cape. The cape almost single-handedly breaks the game for me.
The cape breaks the game.
The cape breaks the game. Here's the thing about the cape.
The cape makes most of the levels, even finding the secrets, just
what the cape is? You know what the cape is? The cape is Nintendo's Super Guide feature before they figured out they wanted to make a Super Guide feature. The cape is what the ability to have it autoplay in Mario Bros. Or in Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is. It's what having the invincibility in Mario 2 is. It is, if you want to get through the game, an easy cheat that lets you fly above the whole level and get through the game. If you don't want to get through the game, you can just not use the cape.
Yeah, but I mean...
in my mind, I've always viewed it as not always, but when, compiling this, I was kind of just oh, Nintendo had this whole thing about let's make a game where it's accessible for everyone, and we'll have these items and we'll have these features that let you do that. The cape is basically that, and there's no reason you necessarily have to only fly over anything unless you're looking for the secrets at that point. In which case, maybe you do a little, but you don't have to find the secrets if you don't want to.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. Like, I feel like the Tanuki tail was just a much better implementation of the cape.
I like the cape better in a way.
I'll give you the cape. Yeah, it's like, it could be more fun to use. Like, yeah, who doesn't love unlimited flight and unlimited spin?
Well, not so much that. I like the, actually the spin jump. There's a lot of legacy stuff in World that affected all the other Mario games, which I'll get to in a minute. But no, the thing I like about the cape is it built this sense of momentum that the Tanuki suit didn't have. I don't know. I like that sense of momentum that it had. Because, like, the cape, you're like, you know, you used to, okay, you could walk, you can run, you can jump, you can hover, and now it's like, nah, you just keep going. Like, you just do the whole thing. You just keep, it's all the way through. So if you want to knock all the way through, you can stop yourself short. But I like, there's a sense of momentum in World that's interesting, because even, like, when you have Yoshi, like, the physics are a little different than when you don't have Yoshi and things like that. And that's, like, kind of new to Mario.
The physics are the same when you have Yoshi.
No, I think you something's different.
You can't fly. Different. You just jump really high, but that's about it.
That might be what I'm thinking of. No, but even the
No, it's the same.
Okay, maybe. Okay, maybe the physics about Yoshi don't.
I mean,
but
yeah, like the physics say, like, I mean, the only thing, like, I'll definitely give you about, like, momentum is, like, yeah, when you take off flying, you're pretty much, like, locked into that direction. And with the Tanuki tail, like, it's a very limited amount of time you can stay up in the air.
Yeah.
And Nintendo, at least like in Mario 3, like, they love to just, like, pretty much hide a lot of things in the sky, but also, like, below the ground too, because you could, like, smack these with your tail. But I don't know, I just like that it was more constrained. I mean, I guess this is, like, I guess my way of saying, I guess I did enjoy, like, the challenge that the Tanuki tail brought, that the cape completely neutered, because they're essentially they accomplish the same things.
Yeah.
But
that's fair.
But the cape, you know, you're like a tornado of invincibility, and the Tanuki tail, you literally have gaps in between where you could get hit, so you can't just spam it willy nilly. You can't just hold the A button to hover. You have to tap it a few times, so, you know, you have to think about your jumps before you do them.
You have to do the borp, borp, up and down motions.
Yeah, I mean, I do like...
That's my impression of the cape. That's been working on all week.
One of my favorite things about Marvel is that learning curve with, like, you know, actually, like, gaining ground. Like, that's really tough to do in Mario World. That's probably the only hard thing in the whole game. Like, the bosses, oh, man, they're so disappointing. Like, I mean... But I guess, like, that doesn't really matter, because almost all the Mario bosses in every Mario game
I've rarely heard you praise a Mario boss. Rarely. There's a few exceptions.
Yeah, but I mean...
the Odyssey bosses.
No, yeah, but I mean, that's in 3D. In 3D, they definitely get way more creative. I mean, in World, I would say, like, they're probably, like, at their... like, one of their lowest, except for the Bowser battle. The Bowser battle was...
Are they at their lowest? I mean,
you keep in mind what year it was. Like, literally 2 seconds.
Okay, so...
okay, I know. This is where it gets into, like, oh, okay, we're going to look at it when it came out. When it came out, obviously...
Well, no. My point is, I'm not saying look at when it came out. I'm saying to get to the creativity they got to with the more modern games, you have to go through the older ones and go through those ideas.
I know.
So
that doesn't make the first ones any better than the later ones. It just means that they laid the groundwork for the other ones to improve upon them. Objectively, that just makes them better. There's no way around that.
It just depends on what.
Okay, so let's compare the Lenny battle. Okay, I jump on his head.
You're probably right. It's probably better.
And then you immediately jump on his head again as soon as he squats. All right, now look at the Lenny battle in Super Mario Brothers view. He actually has different patterns. Half of the Koopalings aren't just rotating around you or in pipes.
Yeah, no. Again, you're probably right. It probably is better.
That's just objectively better.
I'm just saying. No, my only point is you can't just say because something's iterated on something else means it's better.
I know, and you also can't just say, well, this influenced and created the legacy for everything also makes it better.
I was just saying you're being a little hard on the bosses. That's all. But
I mean,
anyway.
that also kind of goes for like a lot of the level designs, like. Or any of the Mario's Legacy moves that you say, like, oh, the spin jump does make it into the Wii U. And the Wii for that. Actually, the Wii kind of brought in a bunch of aspects from different Mario games, which I feel is, like, probably, like, the best thing. Or what makes, probably, like, Wii U my favorite one. Just, like, Mario's sense of movement. Just, like, you could do so much with just Mario that it's just so fun to use them. Like, the fact you could wall jump, I feel like you can't go back to Mario not being able to wall jump.
I did try to wall jump a couple times in the world, and I was like, oh, right, this isn't here yet.
Yeah, like, being able to wall jump...
On one part I tried, yeah. And I not even realized. I was just like, wait, what am I doing?
I mean, like, even, like, stuff like the ground pound, which, like, I kind of forgot. Like, when I was playing Mario World, I guess that was my equipment. Like, I thought you could have ground pounded this game.
Yeah.
But it's, like, I love that you can use the ground pound like as a ground pound, or it's like, oh, I need like to gain extra height to delay my stance so that I could dodge the lava that's like about to go down. Like, cool, like little things like that, or like the little twirl. Like, obviously, like Mario World isn't a terrible game. Like, you've clearly shown like why it's an amazing game, but I feel like to call it the best one is almost even a disservice to Nintendo, because you're literally saying that they haven't made anything like better than this in like over a decade. And I would argue that they've just been building on that for like so many years, and they've just kept making so many really awesome Mario. I mean, I've always made, well, my brother and I, because we literally 100% these games every time they come out, and we always kind of felt that every Mario game, at least I'm going to stick to consoles right now, the 2D ones have always gotten better and better because they just got it more interesting. I mean, Mario Wii, the first one, I love that game. That game,
I like it too.
Super Mario Brothers 2.
He said console only in his defense.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a 2D Mario.
No, it is.
I mean, Mario 2D. I mean,
yeah, actually, back that up. Every game they do is better than the last, and every game they do, it's a disservice to call the previous one the best. Mario 2, Mario DS,
New Super Mario Bros. 2,
and DS.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Better than World or 3.
I mean, that one just had like a different goal, so I wouldn't. I don't know.
There it is. That's what I'm saying. World had a different goal. Yeah, it's not about difficulty platform.
So you're saying we can't have a winner. There can't be a clear best one because they're obviously going for different things and they accomplish different things.
That's what you just said, and I'm agreeing. That is what you just said. You said 2 can't necessarily be worse than the other because it's a different goal, and I'm like, sure. And World is a bit more exploratory, different goal.
Okay, yeah, but your whole point is to say why it is the best, undeniably, and I'm just trying to say why it isn't. So.
No, my point is to say it's the best 2D Mario because I like that. I think it's
that's still the same thing. I think it's the best in the scope of the 2D Mario games. It accomplishes its goal. I mean, I'm
saying its goal makes for a more interesting experience that's more open and stands out from other Marios that all follow other goals, and thus stands higher because like it clicks better or something like that.
Mario U also had like a hidden world like after you beat the game that
didn't have worlds in between worlds. Didn't have worlds to fast track you to other worlds.
It had secret levels, and it did have worlds and it did have levels that took you to shortcuts to fast track to other levels.
But it had a cannon instead of a star road.
Okay, so whoa, big deal. Okay, yeah. But,
well, no, if we're doing like if we're checking off individual boxes, that is a difference.
We're just canceling them out at that point. But Mario U had everything that else that I loved about Mario World and just built on it. Like, what was I about to say? I literally just had
fewer secrets. Fewer secrets.
Oh, that's right. Like, the addition of, like, the gold medallions and just, like, the way they were, like, laid out and actually, like, had a meaning to them, I thought was really cool. And they actually hid them in really clever places that sometimes had you, doing things you wouldn't normally think to do. Pretty much what, I guess in lieu of having a bunch of secret levels, they just cleverly hid the coins, or sometimes they had them out in the open, but had you do pretty much like really tricky platforming to get them that would easily get a bunch of people killed, or they could just skip over it. Like, adding stuff like that, I felt like really helped it. Because, I mean, the Yoshi coins didn't do anything. You grab the 5 and you just get a life.
But it's the accomplishment. It's all the accomplishment.
What's there to accomplish in the life?
You got all the things in the level.
Yeah, but there's no like tally of it or anything.
But you did it.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's to be...
And that's like... I feel like they're holding a technical limitation on whatever save system they had against
They could have literally had, after you beat the level, like just like a little tiny circle, or just a little tiny symbol. It's like,
you got all the... But you did it. You know you did it. You did the experience. You had the experience. Why do you care if the game's validating your experience or not if you're in it for the experience?
I don't know. Oh, okay, fine. I mean, I guess my biggest gripe with the coins is that, like I said, a lot of those golden coins in the later Mario levels that they just keep adding were like cleverly hidden, or like, you were always visible. A lot of these dino coins, I think that's what they're called them.
Like, go ahead.
They were...
It's right there.
Oh yeah, it's right here on the wall.
Yeah, they didn't have one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I mean, obviously this was like... Actually, I think this was their first time like actually like messing with like this kind of system, and most of the time, like, every once in a while, like, you'll actually see one and you'll get it, but those are pretty like, okay, I see it, jump and get it. Every other time...
Did you turn on all the Switch Palace blocks?
Yes, I did. Every other time...
if you didn't, it's a lot harder. Because there's gaps and stuff. Some of those dino coins are only accessible easily if you turn on the Switch. If you don't turn on the Switch,
I wasn't even trying to... I know, and I wasn't even trying to find all the switches. That just kind of happened. But anyway, I mean...
You could have always just not gone to the Switch. It's what you make it, somewhat, is my point.
Okay.
So, it could have been difficult. Nintendo laid it out to be if you chose not to hit the Switch. It's like the inverse of what you're saying about... Like, you were saying if you want to take the extra
I didn't even get to, like, the part that griped me. So, like, a good majority of the coins are not even, like... in their coin form. They're just a regular coin, something that's just hidden out of the way, or that's just like in a group of coins, and you're just grabbing coins just to get coins, and like, oh, I guess I got a dino coin at that point.
Like, put a timer on this.
They're very.
Wait, hold on. Where
you guys got 5 minutes left.
All right. Good call. Wait,
like,
when do dino coins just magically? I've always seen them, or maybe I haven't gotten them all.
Yeah.
Okay, then how's that?
Because like,
then how's that?
Maybe like 1 or 2 of them in a level, like you can actually see.
And that's worse than the other one? Mario 2's goal of collect all the coins. How? Because you said that's good in its own way, but it's the same goal.
Because these coins, like, they make them out to be like special, but half the time, like, you get them and you don't even know you get them unless like you hear the little chime. Like, they're just kind of hidden.
Wait, what?
I don't feel like they're hidden. Am I crazy?
Because like, okay, like, let me give you an example. Like, in one of the first couple levels, just because like off the top of my head, there's like a string of like 5 coins just floating above you. Like, they just look like normal coins. You jump and grab them. Oh, cool. One of them was a Yoshi coin. Like,
I have no recollection of that being a regular thing. But again,
it was.
Let's say
I noticed it a ton.
Let's say it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say it is. Then my Odyssey parallel just is stronger because you didn't like how Odyssey did that too. With moons just everywhere.
I mean, the difference was, like, in Odyssey, like, they kind of shove it in your face, like, you have to collect these coins. I mean, these moons. And in Mario World, it was kind of like, oh, okay, I guess I got one. Oh, I guess I got another one. Oh, okay, there's another. I mean...
No. If you go in and you decide... This is my whole point.
The game revolves around collecting moons. I don't have to collect these Yoshi coins. These are completely optional.
This is my point. Yes, it's optional. It's an opener.
That's
a more open Mario game. If you want to just do standard platform, you can. If you want to collect every coin, that's your prerogative.
I know.
If you want to not hit any of the Switch Palace things
and that's what I'm saying.
And make it hard platforming, that's your prerogative. All of it's there. It's how you choose to
I know.
Run
and that's
with
what
it.
I'm saying. Like, they actually took the time to put, the hidden coins in the later Mario games in more interesting places that actually require you to do harder platform that you want to. In Mario World, there's a ton, I would say a majority of these coins, you don't have to do any of that. You're just kind of...
Majority strong.
Well, I mean, clearly, I collected, I think, just about all of them in every single level. There might have been, like, 1 or 2 where I missed them. Because at one point, I was actually trying to see, like, wait, are they actually that kind of brain dead for that reason? And they kind of were. I mean, for a collectible. I mean...
I know you were saying that you have to look at this isolated as its own game and not in the broader picture of a legacy of stuff. I would argue, as kind of my closing statement, that is near impossible. Because anything a game teaches you, as someone that plays games as a kid, down the road, whoever designs the next game had those same experiences and is now trying to one-up, literally and figuratively, that. So, yes, they are in more interesting places in potentially in a later game. But is that a knock against the earlier game, or was the earlier game good at doing the thing it set out to do and achieved it well, and then the later game is good at setting out what it attempted to do and it achieved it well, and that basically boils down to, and I think this is the root of it, how difficult of a game do you want, and that then determines what the best game is in your mind. Because it sounds like they both achieved exactly what the developer set out to do. The question just becomes, do you want a hard platforming challenge, which ultimately is what this keeps coming back to, is you want a hard platforming challenge, or do you want whatever it is World presents, or whatever it is Mario 2 and its coin collecting presents, or whatever it is you presents, Mario U, not you as a person, or whatever it is Crash Bandicoot presents. Like, it's kind of... The thing you keep circling back to, I think, is you want harder platforming in a way where the game escalates as it goes to meet whatever skill level you're
I had my expectations. I'm not going to expect... Mario eventually led me to expect harder platform because they actually did offer that later.
Right.
But I know.
Right.
But, it's...
Because that was the game design later. I guess what I'm saying is, when you say best game, do you mean the best game for what you want in a game?
When I picked the game, I wasn't looking for, the biggest challenge, but I was at least hoping for a sense of progression as far as just, evolving levels the later you get into the game.
I still would argue they do in the exploration sense. And I feel like
you definitely don't. And, even before this, I did, after having, formed my own thoughts, I'm like, alright, let's just go see what other critics thought. And for the most part, I would say, 80% of the time, Mario World is always ranked way below, well, not way below, a couple ranks below Mario 3. Even on Metacritic, Mario World... No, Mario...
Why is critical reception in...
Well, no, I'm just saying in general,
And Mario Galaxy's ranked higher than all of them, so theoretically, that's the best game. Yeah, but Ocarina of Time is the highest. That's really the best game.
So it kind of made this argument move from the very beginning, then?
Sort of. Possibly.
Because it was never the best game to begin with.
Oh, wow. That's so it made this all moot, sort of, and done. Yep. No, but I think it ultimately...
If you like what it's setting out to do because it does it well, then it's the best game.
Well, no. What I was going to say is I think ultimately what it boils down to is when you look at the game, I don't know if it's necessarily... Does it do this better than that or that better than this? They set out to achieve... What do you think the goal is set out to achieve is, and how well does it succeed at said goal? I think is the takeaway that I have, at least. Because you made very good points about why it's not the best, but why other games are. And those games built things that made sense for that purpose. And this game did things that make sense for its potential purpose, if you will. So I think ultimately what it comes down to is, what determines if a game is great is does what the game's design intend to do succeed? And then there's, of course, room for interpretation about what is it trying to do.
So,
like Ocarina of Time, like, some people might not like adventure games, but I think pretty much everyone's like, it's very good at being an adventure game. Like, you know what I mean?
I know. It gets harder, like, the more layers that you add onto it, because, like, I didn't play Ocarina of Time when it came out. I played it, like, I think right before Wind Waker, so, like, by then, when I first played Ocarina of Time, I thought it was boring. Like, I thought a lot of it was redundant and slowly paced until, like, towards the later half when it got, like, that's when I really, like, whoa, okay, I can see. I mean, I definitely had to keep putting myself back, like, oh, when this came out, like, man, this must have, like, blew their minds, but, I mean, now it's just, like, okay, I guess. I don't know. It's
okay to you playing it now, but again, if you look at it in the context of what they built and what it tried to achieve.
I know, and then it's also...
That's where it gets
and then it's also, like...
Well, it's
like, oh, Twilight Princess essentially is just, like a nicer version of Ocarina of Time.
Yes, it is.
A more updated version. So, like, does that still make Ocarina of Time objectively better just because it did it first?
No, not necessarily.
I know.
They're doing
I know.
And most people felt not, actually, I feel like. I think Ocarina still had higher reviews after than Twilight.
I know, but that's like...
It wasn't until Breath of the Wild that changed. And Breath of the Wild came in and said, we're doing it differently. Here's what we're trying to do. Do we achieve what we're trying to do? Yes, and in fact, you achieve what you're trying to do. Potentially better as, like, it's just an overall better package of achievement than Ocarina was. So that's, best is hard to quantify. I think that's why we do impressions, not reviews on the show, because it's hard to not just be like, I like this thing. Because, like, it ultimately came down to me going, I like exploration, you going, I like platform.
I know, like...
And that was kind of...
I know.
At no point was the music, the visuals in this, I guess, just came down to...
I think that's amazing that we never brought up visuals, music, or nostalgia, just because...
I think it's disappointing.
No, because I feel like that proves our points more that, like, it's really hard to quantify. Because we were literally just talking about the core gameplay. Like, I mean, like, because everything else about that's super subjective. Like, Mario World's art aesthetics is super... Like, it's one of my favorite ones. Like,
it looks great,
The music Mario World ones feel really sterile.
Yeah.
And the music, I mean, it's kind of... I mean, I love the Mario... I mean, blah, blah, blah. So,
I will say, the one thing Mario World has over every other Mario game, and no one can disagree because I think you'll agree, that makes sense, is, you know at the end where it shows all the enemy names? Mm-hmm. I forgot, watch me be wrong, Mario World, they had thwomps, but it also introduced what I now know are called thwimps.
Oh, yeah.
That's my case. I mean, it has thwimps. They're tiny thwomps.
I mean, thwimps do appear in later games.
That was your trump card?
Yeah.
Yes, thwimps. My thwimp card.
Alright. Angel ones.
No, I knew this was going to be...
It was going to devolve into this.
That's why to really come down
that's why I feel like the title of Mano y Mario works, because it was just like head-to-head. We weren't going to get to a conclusion. But I had a lot of fun. I hope listeners didn't find us going too much in circles. We were going in circles, but I hope it was still...
No,
that was a journey. That was like a 40-minute debate. And with that, I think we could just call it. I don't think there's anything else to discuss this episode. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm tired.
So next episode's on...
10:50?
Yeah, it's the time we're done recording. So next episode is on October 27th. It's going to be a lot of games. Ring Fit Adventure, Killer Queen Black, Asphalt 9, who knows what else. We'll have impression on those, we'll have news, we'll have you name it. To make sure you don't miss it, it'll probably not be as circular as our argument was. To make sure you don't miss it, you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn. We're on YouTube, randomnintendo.com. We're on Twitter at randomnintendo. We still have that Truck Racing Championship giveaway coming your way. Don't you worry. We never said when it was going to happen. We just said it would. So make sure to follow us there. It's going to be very, very soon, before the next episode for sure. And with that, I turn it to Kevin for the final word.
I am done with that cable. You hear me? Done.